Help. 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Hey, it's JMV for Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Around for 100 years, they have what you need, including air purification. And the iWave, the most advanced air purification system anywhere. Right now, you can save $125 just by mentioning to John and Chris my name. Also, know this, Love Heating and Air Conditioning, following CDC recommended guidelines to maintain your health and safety. 317-353-2141. They're the best. Love-HVAC.com today.
Watching that first bucket sink in any NBA game is always exciting, especially when it's the team you're pulling for. Now, PointsBet is adding even a little more alley-oop to it with a sizzling fast and easy score first insurance. Your team bangs in the first bucket but gets blown out, you still walk away a winner because you get up to $50 of free bets. An L in their column, a W in yours. That's right, did we just say that? We did. Score first and win no matter what happens in the end. That's PointsBet, even making the first bucket more exciting. Faster rewards, faster parlays, faster way to win. And it's all on PointsBet's easier mobile app. Basketball is here, so lace up and get ready because Score First Insurance is here. PointsBet, stay sharp. Download the app today and get 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000 with promo code Indiana. PointsBet is a proud partner with the Hollywood Casino, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Must be present in Indiana. Must be 21 plus. Additional terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. The NTT IndyCar Series races at Gateway, Saturday and Sunday at 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Kick is up, and it is long enough, and it is good! Adam Vinatieri, at age 45, drills one from 57 yards out.
Was kept alive by Oladipo, and Sabonis with a left hand.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV, FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Back with you on a Thursday. Thank you for joining us. I know I missed a lot of you yesterday that called. We had a high volume of those that wanted to participate. If you want to do so again today, that gate is wide open at 239-1070. Loaded show, however, bottom of this hour, Bobby Marks will join us from ESPN. Bobby Marks was rather, shall I say, outspoken in social media in the minutes to hours today after we learned that the Pacers had cut ties with head coach Nate McMillan. He was outspoken on behalf of that decision being the wrong decision. Now, we'll talk to Bobby Marks about that and replacements, whether or not, because I brought this up a month ago, and everybody's talking about Mike D'Antoni now, and to me, what I have recognized, it's been split right down the middle to this point. I mean, right down the middle. And for a variety of reasons. There are a lot of you out there that would like to see them absolutely start new. I don't know unless you really have somebody out there that you've had your eye on. I don't know if you start new after you go from a guy like Nate McMillan. Because you can point to that regular season and the numbers that he put up and the reasons as to why the postseason he hasn't fared well, at least here. You can make sense out of it. I think we all, at least most of us, with the exception of a few out there, were ready for a change. I think a lot of us would have been surprised. We weren't going to be surprised. Hey, listen, we're not surprised anymore. We're probably never going to be surprised again around here. But given the fact there was that conversation about, at least go ahead and give him, and J. Michael explained it the way that it was on here the day before. And the reason why that news came out and, that so-called extension was given the fact this is a pandemic extended type of season. And he explained all the dialogue, the contract mumbo jumbo, if you will, to you a day prior. But after watching it and watching the past couple of seasons, and as I mentioned yesterday, understanding, and then Jay Michael in his article on The Star had pointed to players not being happy with the situation, not being happy with the offense. And I've told you that for a long time. Not being happy with the offense. And this goes back to even former players who used to lob phone calls back and say, hey, this offense is never, ever going to benefit you. And hell, not even talking about the isolation offense that apparently the players were tired of, whether it's Malcolm Brogdon that was reported or whatever else. Not even that. I mean, hell, you could see that. I think we were all sick and tired of the isolation offense when it came down to it. But it just felt like around here that it was time to make that change. Sounds like man in the mirror right there. It sounds like it was time to make that change. So I was okay with it. And again, there was nothing stunning to it for me. I guess the only thing that kind of stuck out is I heard so much going back to when all that Oladipo drama was going down in early July. There was so much out there, so much being told. And, I went over this yesterday. You had the bubble rumor that kind of surfaced regarding a conversation on a podcast with ESPN announcer Jeff Van Gundy. I had the Oladipo drama in general, but I had heard the D'Antoni name. I was just going to, because you got D'Antoni's, the coach of a team that is still in it right now. Now, again, he and apparently the organization don't see eye to eye, and the expectation is that he is going to be punted at the end of the year, whenever that might be. So if indeed the Pacers have him as a target, again, which I was told in July, and I know Adrian Wojnarowski came up with that yesterday. He said he was going to be a target if indeed he became available. The first question I had is, I'm assuming it's a question that a lot of you had. That first question was pretty simple. All right, are they going to pay the market value? Which, obviously, with 5 teams out there, maybe a couple of others, but certainly 5 teams out there as of right now, that will need new leadership. How much are you going to have to pay for this guy? Because if you go back to Nate McMillan and being satisfied with the job, and I'm not trying to make this a backhanded compliment at all. I mean, being satisfied with the regular seasons, being upset, disturbed by the postseasons, but satisfied with the regular season, and then going into 2021 when you don't know when the hell it's going to start. I mean, they pushed everything back, whether it's the draft, free agency, the start of the season. Monetarily, you don't know how each organization might be doing. There's always been conversation about the Pacers really not, they never have and never will go into the luxury tax. There's always been that point of, Herb Simon's never, ever going to pay. How much would he pay for a head coach, especially with the market value of that coach, if indeed he is let go by Houston, does skyrocket? I mean, the guy is 70 years old, I'll give you that. But one of the good things that you probably learned in reading the article from our friend Jay Michael, the Star, is that apparently Herb Simon was at the top of the list of guys feeling that a change needed to be made. That's good for you. That is good for you. Now, unless you felt that Nate needed to stay around and you thought that, you know what, you lose players like Sabonis this year and Oladipo a year ago, this guy has not had a fair share. If you're one of those folks that believe that, then you're not going to like this. But if you were one of those folks that thought, you know what, time, we've seen it. This is what it has been for a while. You lose 9 consecutive postseason games, and regardless of injury situations, there's no real way to hide that. I mean, that thing sticks out like a wart on your resume. There's no real way to hide that. But when you see ownership coming out and saying, at least not coming out, but reportedly suggesting that ownership was behind this change and felt that it absolutely had to be made, that, I'm assuming for Pacer fans, probably makes you feel good. They're not going to sit here and do what they normally do in the regular season, get everybody all geeked up, land somewhere in the neighborhood of 7-4 in the seeding, and then get so unceremoniously ousted in the first round of the postseason. That part, I'm assuming, makes many of you feel good. And as somebody had told me a little bit earlier today, by reading what J. Michael had to say, maybe the Pacers, maybe ownership does feel as if they wouldn't mind paying. Maybe D'Antoni is the guy. And again, it's about 50-50 right now with most of you out there. There's some of you that suggest that, hey, you got to bring in somebody new. I mean, the old rehash coach out there is kind of tired to you. The other anti-D'Antoni angle is that you look at the personnel, and how does that anywhere in the vicinity make sense considering what he is coaching up right now in Houston? I mean, you still have a team that went into the season and played this season up until Sabonis got injured by utilizing two bigs. Clearly, that philosophy would change, and clearly, personnel decisions and changes would also have to be made. There's no question about it. Some of you just kind of feel like you need new blood. But others suggest that maybe even this group with some changes here or there, I'm just talking about what people are suggesting to me, with changes made here or there, with a true offensive mind as a coach and not a grinded out ISO same old type of thing, with somebody that's more in this era, this generation of offense, then maybe something could be done with this group. So that's kind of where we are right now. It may not end up being him at all, but it's interesting. A month ago, that's what was talked about to me. And then when the Pacers decide to cut ties with Nate McMillan, that name pops up from probably the most recognizable, the most reliable of these newsbreakers in professional sports, being Adrian Wojnarowski. I asked the question yesterday of the 5 available gigs right now in the NBA. How would you rank them? How would you rank the Pacers versus the Pelicans, the Pacers versus the Bulls versus Philly versus Brooklyn? How would you rank those gigs? Where were the Pacers? I think I had the Pacers ranked 4th. If you want to come down to, seriously, I think 3 are above them. Now, you can certainly view New Orleans above them just for the simple fact that they have what many people believe to be a defining player for the foreseeable future. Now, they've had that before, and that didn't work out so well. They went to the postseason, but it didn't end up working out well because that defining player worked his way out of New Orleans. But still, as it stands right now, which of those 5 gigs look the best? How many of those gigs would want that not-so-subtle change? And it's kind of funny when you think about a guy like Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni has kind of always been the guy, and it's funny, there is a comparison to be made to Nate McMillan, who has had a great deal, especially of success here, dealing with situations, but winning in the regular season. Mike D'Antoni's past has been, hey, win in that regular season and really win outrageously in that regular season. I mean, really show up and then pull an El Foldo with that offense in the postseason. All of a sudden, you realize when the defensive wrench, if you will, is tightened up, that offense hasn't been as good in the postseason as it has been in the past, or as it was in the regular season. So that's the other point. And I think the overall thing is, what do you feel about this Pacer team from what you saw? I mean, what was ultimately a product of the bubble environment? What's real and what's not? Much like Nate McMillan, do you think that the organization feels they've reached the end of the line with anybody else here? Where's Kevin Pritchard in all this, too? As much as we've talked about and we have lauded Kevin Pritchard, I mean, it's not all great. I mean, you looked at what has been helping Miami, and then you look at guys like TJ Leaf that gave zero help. And there is no doubt that you needed some help. And again, I know that you look at it. I give you a great example of Goga being drafted last year. And if you look at that, and you look at that with the common theme, it didn't look like that there'd be a lot that was going to help this team out other than maybe a Brandon Clark. And I kind of gave you the explanation as to why I thought that they would select Brandon Clark out of Gonzaga. Memphis ended up doing so. He averaged, 12.5 points per game. But I didn't think at the time that they would go that direction with him. I wasn't surprised that they went with the European big man project and hope that he blooms and blossoms into something down the road. I mean, that part all made sense to me. But fact of the matter is, Brandon Clark did help that team, his team in Memphis in year number 1. You're still sitting around and waiting for Aaron Holiday. There have been some games where you're thinking Aaron Holiday is on the track to transition into a player that you can count on, and then there are others when the dude just flat disappears. Now, again, the Pacers have not had high draft selections. There have been a lot of people around here that suggest that you really need to tear it down and try to rebuild and, go through what Philadelphia called the process. I mean, hell, Philadelphia's still waiting on the process. That's how long that can take. I mean, think about the process. I mean, they're into the second base of leadership after the process was underway, and then going into their second coach after the process, and they are still waiting. But there are a lot of people out there that think, without that can't miss absolute lottery selection, elite level player, you're never going to get anywhere. It just doesn't look like the Pacers are going to ever be able to pull that off. I mean, not anytime soon. I mean, they win enough. They are good enough to hang in that vicinity where you can look at it, the draft selections and the help that comes, the production that comes with those draft selections is pretty close to non-existent. I mean, think about this. Their bench had a total of 3 points. 3 points in that Game 4 loss. 3. If you look at the minutes played by the starters, it was outrageous. So what do? So, yeah, I mean, a lot of you are suggesting that this has also got to be on the organization, and it is. I mean, I think everybody has to look in the mirror about where they are, their philosophy of going with 2 bigs, and if indeed they want to go small ball and they want to play like a lot of other teams in the NBA, do they have the caliber of player to turn it around on the fly with, the right coach? Do they have what is necessary, the resources to go out and try to find and bring in some of those players? I mean, these are all good questions about what you want to do, what is going to be. This is why we got to get Kevin Pritchard on here, because I would love to know what their philosophy is going to be. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be the 2 bigs anymore. But then what do? I think we all understand which one probably would end up getting traded in a scenario as such. But, what is their philosophy and what is going to be their philosophy? Again, I would think that if you made that change in the fashion in which they did, you would have somebody in mind. But, what if ownership just said after watching those 4 games against Miami, I'm going to put my opinion, my recognizable opinion here in the ring, and something's got to be done here. I can't imagine this was done without previous thought, because, again, the D'Antoni thing you don't get that a month ago and then have the most noted reporter in professional sports that covers the NBA drop that in there as he did yesterday without there seriously being something behind it. I mean, somebody has been talking. Somebody has been talking longer-term picture. Thinking at the time, maybe a month ago, that there was going to be a change made and following the steps that J. Michael talked about, and then absolutely understanding after the postseason performance. Because I'll tell you this, there were a couple of regular season games mixed in there where you thought this thing was going in the right direction. I mean, we sat here and talked about the ball movement. lauded the small ball. And then the Heat said, sit down, everybody. Now, this is how this is really going to work. And then gave the Pacers a complete and utter work over. Connecticut water question of the day. If what we had talked about, should D'Antoni be the guy if D'Antoni's made available? Or which side of this are you going to be on? What works for you? Because I will say this, some of you are going to be caught in between this because there are a lot of you out there that are anti-Miles. A lot of you are suggesting if Mike D'Antoni comes in here as the next head coach, that more than likely Miles is going to be dealt or Miles is going to be shopped. And a lot of you will love to see that. So maybe, if for nothing else, you would like to see that philosophical offensive change and then get somebody that you have grown to dislike or maybe you haven't liked him at all and move on from that. So some of you, I'm assuming, are going to have agendas on this. But we'll hear from you all. 239-1070. Email address, jmv@1070thefan.com. The show is on Twitter, JMV1070. The show is inside the lounge. I haven't opened it up just yet. The YouTube lounge with our lounge lizards every day. Truly appreciate everybody dropping in and being a part of it, too. And if you would like to, basically what happens is you drop in there and you watch and you listen at the same time, and you can also participate. See, Vic Bark says, hey, TJ Warren is a career 15 points per game guy. He was hot for 9 days in the bubble. Was the TJ Warren you saw in the bubble the TJ Warren, for the most part you saw in the bubble, the TJ Warren that you're going to get for the future? Is that going to be it? And if you were open for a change, reading or seeing reported what Jay Michael had talked about inside the Star, does that make you feel better about this situation moving forward? That, it was ownership that has dictated this or helped dictate or at least had a great deal of an opinion in the matter in this move. What say you? All right, 239-1070, email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. We'd love to hear from you. Inside the lounge, Bobby Marks, bottom of the hour. Grady's going to join us in the 4 o'clock hour. Looks as if the postseason of the NBA is not going to get back underway until Saturday. The NBA players have agreed to resume the postseason. First thought it was going to be Friday, but I think it's going to be Saturday now, right, Kyle? They're going to postpone the games tonight and then again coming up on Friday and resume the games down in the Orlando bubble coming up on Saturday. According to sources, the NHL has called off tonight's playoff games to recognize this as well. And it has been not basically close to a 24-hour period because we were talking about this whole Nate McMillan coaching change here yesterday, and then all of a sudden, this came about as far as what the NBA players are doing. And as you would imagine, incredibly polarizing. And a lot of people have a lot to say. And we'll dive into that coming up a little bit later on, too. And as I told you yesterday, people were asking me, what do you think about this? I think that if you truly want to do something about something and you have the platform as such to do so, especially, within this environment right now, then do it. Because a lot of people are suggesting this. So what are the players risking here? What is the big risk? They all make so much money, and what's the big risk for them is turning people away. The big risk for them is this, is me getting, emails saying, you know what, I turn on the show, I turn on sports talk to hear about sports, not about, politics and things of this nature, and people just getting tired of it and getting away from it. And that's a tremendous risk. But again, you have that platform, and certainly you want to stand up for something. I'll sit back and listen. Well, at least we all will, but I will especially sit back and listen and we shall see where this goes. But there is, regardless of multi-millionaire athletes, there is a great deal of risk here. Yeah, I mean, you may not see it right now. I mean, you think about what we've gone through in the past 5 months and what we thought initially. I talk about that particular show all the time, 2 shows downtown, and what we thought about, everything being shut down and how this may be just kind of a, quote, blip on the radar, and we're still here. And I say we're still here trying to figure things out. Doesn't feel like we have even much figured out. So there is some risk. So you can't say, well, they're not risking anything. What do they have to risk? The future. To stand up for something they believe in, and that's kind of what everything is about. And listen, I see it all the time. I see it all the time on both sides. I just don't get into the debate. I let people talk. I let people say what they want to say. Think about it. Move on. Doesn't mean I buy your conversation or Kyle's conversation or anybody's conversation, but the whole listening aspect in what has become just a huge Jerry Springer world. It's like I'm watching a Jerry Springer episode from 1995. It's seriously. That's what social media has absolutely become that. Anybody know? Social media is one big Jerry Springer episode from 95. Remember we used to think that was funny? Come on. You've had all these matters. Everybody would start screaming and yelling, finger pointing. Somebody would say, talk to the hand. Somebody would try to get a big zinger in, and everybody would start laughing. Somebody would get clowned on. 60 minutes later, there's no resolution, and you turn around and do the same thing the next day. It feels like where we are. Especially in the world of social media, that's exactly where they are. See it daily. Anyway, we can hit everything if you like. MLB as well, we can dive into that. Might complete another Reds disappointment. 11-17. So, Kyle, they've lost 17 more games than I thought they would. 11-17. What's a guy like me to do? Been waiting for a long time. All right, also the latest in the Big Ten with the Nebraska players suing the Big Ten over postponement. I will tell you this, if I were in college and I was playing football, I'd be all kind of pissed off about it. I would. And I can tell you, even going through what everybody's going through right now, my 20-something, my late teens, my 20-something, especially if I knew that was going to be it and I didn't have the talent, I mean, I would be pissed. We shall see where this ends up going. I can kind of guess where it's going to end up going, but we shall see where it ends up going. Quick one, we'll come back. Bobby Marks is going to join us from ESPN, very outspoken about how he felt the wrong move was made yesterday by the Pacers in letting go of Nate McMillan. Bobby Marks is going to join us next.
There are times in life when certain situations are unavoidable. As life passes, we get a little slower and a little more achy than the year before. All part of life. But when we lose the ability for intimacy with the one we love, it can feel much worse. Unfortunately, the lady we love typically feels like this situation is just because of her. As men, we know that's just not true. We want that spark back just as much as she does. The Indianapolis Men's Clinic physicians hear this from struggling couples every day. Fortunately, that struggle in your relationship from erectile dysfunction can be gone. One simple visit to the Indianapolis Men's Clinic with a same-day solution. The joy of your relationship will be back. And the best part of it is seeing that spark back in a happy relationship. Call 999-9000. It's simple, safe, and private. 999-9000. Clinic visit, evaluation, and testing is just $99. IndyMen'sClinic.com for more information. 999-9000.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Michael. But since he is so focused on growing his career, we hired an actor to read his story.
If you want a job where you get out as much as you put in, Geico is the best place to work. Plus, we promote from within, so there are no ceilings placed on your opportunities.
They even offer parental leave to full-time employees. So there's nothing stopping him from going all the way to the top. But not too high. He's scared of heights.
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates are in the twos, and we are saving folks hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with an easy refinance. If you're thinking about a refinance, we can drop your rate, get you some cash out, skip 2 months of payments, and close in 30 days. And if you're buying a home, let your realtor know that you can close in 30 days or less at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's JMV for my friends at Connecticut Water. Do you have problem water? Well, I have the greatest solution right here, and that's Connecticut. How about the biggest discount on the same whole home water treatment system I have? And for a limited time, take $1,200 off a Premier Series water softener and K5 drinking water station. This is a huge discount, and when I say huge, I mean huge. That's what I'm doing for you. Check it out, ConnecticutIndy.com today.
Denny Smith here. My friends at Sundown Gardens are gearing up for a fantastic fall. All shrubs are 20% off now through August 30th. See all the hydrangeas, roses, ornamental grasses, and foundation plants like boxwood and yews. Mums and fall annuals have started to arrive. The gift shop is full of beautiful autumn-themed decor. There's even a fun Halloween section for indoor and outdoor decorating. Save the date for the Fall Open House, September 19th. Sundown Gardens at 186 and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of our roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in our buildings to keep people healthy. Go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Tim Wicker with Electric Plus, an electrical contractor powering Indiana with offices in Avon, Bloomington, Lafayette, and Kokomo. We lead the race in new construction, modernizations, and service repair. Our teams excel at industrial, commercial, healthcare, and 24/7 emergency coverage. Just like race car drivers desire to be the best, the mission of Electric Plus is to be the best electrical contractor, period. Our highly skilled professionals are ready to take the track when you call. For more information, please visit electricplus.com and let's go racing.
The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper, make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Jason Back writes this, so watch the Pacers go out and hire someone like Mark Jackson or Jim Boylan and set the franchise back a couple of years. Doug Thrasher says, head coach, I wouldn't want any part of Philly with Joel Embiid. I would, I understand where you're coming from there, but that is probably, I bet a lot of people would. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline, the front office insider for the NBA, ESPN, ESPN.com, is Bobby Marks. So go ahead and start with a lot of the things you didn't like about the Pacers' decision to cut ties with Nate McMillan yesterday, Bobby.
Well, I didn't like the press release
Yeah.
that first start. I mean, that's probably. I think, yeah. I mean, we can go through Nate's track record and playoff series, and his 4 years there, and pick apart things. I didn't like the press release. I mean, when you pinpoint that he was 3-16 in the playoffs, I get it, right? I mean, but as I said, you go this year without Sabonis, you have a shell of Oladipo. Last year you had no Victor. And then, you lose to Cleveland in 7 games year before without, after you made the Paul George trade and everything. That's my biggest takeaway. And I understand this league is unforgiving, and there is a merry-go-round when we go with coaches, and there's a shelf life with guys, and it's a wins-oriented, certainly playoff-oriented wins league, and we saw that with Brett Brown in Philadelphia here. But yeah, I mean that was probably my number one takeaway as far as the firing yesterday.
So Bobby Marks on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I go back to when Victor Oladipo kind of started all the soap opera back in early July, and it was told to me that the Pacers, that he in general, but a lot of the players weren't happy with Nate McMillan's offense. And Bobby, this is something we've heard around here for a while, and it was told to me that if things didn't work out in Houston for Mike D'Antoni, he would be a guy that they would hard target. And, we talked about that for a little bit and kind of just cut it loose. But when Adrian hit that up in a tweet yesterday, it made me wonder a couple things. One, if the Pacers would jump, because I'm assuming if he is available and cut loose by Houston, if he's not re-upped in Houston, that he'll be a very expensive head coach and a guy that's probably going to find another seat somewhere in the NBA with all those availabilities out there. The other would be the personnel of the Pacers, any way, shape, or form right now match up with what a guy like Mike D'Antoni does offensively?
Well, it's different. I mean, considering that if you watch Houston, you've got Robert Covington or PJ Tucker playing the 5 for you. I mean, PJ's 6'4", and Covington's 6'7", 6'8", somewhere around there. And Indiana's got you've got two traditional bigs with Domas and Miles. So it's a different. I would say on paper, certainly the personnel doesn't fit with how he's used, what he's accustomed to. And Houston, I mean, he had Clint Capella for a bunch of years and stuff. So yes, he's played with Amari Stoudemire in Phoenix. So he's played with a traditional big before. So yeah, I mean, as far as from an expense standpoint, I mean, it's interesting. Like there's a ton of job openings between Brooklyn and New Orleans and Chicago, Indiana now. And the thought was that with this pandemic and the financial crunch and teams bleeding money, I think Indiana's probably one of those teams, if teams were willing to kind of just ride this out. And now you have a lot of teams kind of eating money, certainly in the case of the Pacers here, and what the cost is going to be for coach. And I think you probably don't make this type of move unless you know kind of who you are going to target, and if there's been some back channel discussions as far as kind of what that price range is going to be.
Yeah, that's what it struck me again, because that would be the type of guy, if you know how all that is going to break down, that you would end up doing. And then when you hear, at least locally reported, that Herb Simon had a great deal into wanting to make that change as well. Because, I mean, he's the one that ultimately is going to have to sign off on paying, I'm assuming in this case, a guy like D'Antoni a lot more than what they would have been paying Nate McMillan. That's just an assumption here.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and you got to figure out assistant, the whole staffing, assistant coaches, where was, Nate's guy, assistant coaches as far as Mike or a new coach bringing in people. So, yeah, there is certainly, an added expense, and considering where their payroll is going to be. I mean, they've got between 125, 126 million committed in salary already, for next season. That it's a big payroll, and we don't know where the cap's going to be. We don't know if fans are going to be allowed in the building there. So there has to have been, of course, a comfort level from ownership that you're willing to incur that expense.
Yeah, see, that was one of the reasons why I thought, because, listen, around here, watching this thing, you kind of knew or felt like with Nate it was nearing the end. And you probably heard this, back when Bird ran things, the philosophy was, 3 years like he did it as a coach, 3 years, and then the players stop listening, and then you move on. That was what he did with Frank Vogel to bring in Nate McMillan and so on and so forth. So there was kind of a thought that maybe you stay comfortable with Nate because of all the reasons you just explained, the pandemic, the bleeding of money, not knowing where you're going to go, when you're going to start, how things are going to work. So, I mean, it kind of seems like this organization is rather serious about this move, doing something that, to me, is very uncharacteristic of them doing.
No, you're right. I mean, I think, it's funny. You go back and you look at the Miami series, and I think if you can pinpoint it, it's probably that possession in the game 4 where I think there was I think the Heat had about 4 or 5 offensive rebounds, right? I think it's a 4 or 5 point game, and it just basically, and I said it, they've just outworked them, right? They basically, it's mental, physical toughness, and they basically outwork the Pacers here. But yeah, I mean, if you're a team that's gone to the playoffs and every year he's been there, you've got to be serious as far as making a change. I mean, I said it yesterday. I get it. I'm not naive. I mean, I've been part of. I mean, we let go Byron Scott in 2004, and we've gone to 2 finals in a row,
Yeah.
and that was in the middle of the year,
right?
And we were 500 at the time. So I get it. I understand how the business of basketball works here, but I just looked at kind of that roster and how depleted. I can understand it more, and I think Nate said it today. There was an article out there that he had the starting 5, I think, for 86 minutes the whole year.
86, yeah.
So it's. But as I always say, if you're not comfortable with the coach and you want to make a change, you might as well do it in the off season, because the one thing you don't want to do is get to the middle of the year and you're 12-14, and then you got to basically start over, and it's like punting on the season.
It's Bobby Marks from ESPN on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How many of these teams, if any, do you think ultimately made a great deal of a decision of change, no matter what that might be, on how their team, their players, or their coaches produced in this bubble? And how much should there be?
Yeah, I mean, I think Philly certainly, right? I mean, with Brett Brown down there, I think they had to probably get to at least a second round, and getting swept, does not help at all. I think with New Orleans, I think the Pelicans would have had to probably get into the playoffs and maybe done some things for Alvin to, save his job there. Certainly for a team that was up and down, and they have the Zion factor. It'll be interesting what Brooklyn does with Jacques Vaughn, who I thought has done a really good job. But as I wrote, there's a difference between coaching a team that is a bunch of overachievers and your roster is really decimated, and then getting Durant and Kyrie and Dinwiddie and those guys back next year. And does that change their mindset there? So, yeah, I don't think the performance for some of these teams have helped. Certainly, I think it would have been interesting. What would have happened if we just didn't have a season at all? If we had just stopped in mid-March and we just kind of rolled into next year, I think you might have seen some of these jobs possibly saved here.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that too. Maybe Alvin Gentry. Even maybe just because the young superstar player. And certainly probably Brett Brown's would have been saved, and Nate's. It's just it is so weird. And then you couple that, Bobby, with just not knowing how things are going to go. I mean, hell, around here the All-Star game was coming in February, and the NBA kind of pulled all their reservations here, and who knows when they're going to get back in an All-Star game type of rotation. So there's just a lot floating in the air right now, and it's kind of hard to grasp. It really is, with answers.
Yeah, as I say, we kind of live in a day-by-day world here, right? I mean, last night I was thinking that we probably weren't going to have a season, right? And then compare with everything going the rest of the season, everything that's going in Orlando, and then today kind of changed the course a little bit here. And, I mean, that's kind of how we're dealing with it. And then we're looking at, the draft, was in October, unlikely going to be in October. When is free agency? What are we going to look like? The economics of the NBA, which still has to get kind of flushed out. So, yeah, still there's a lot of uncertainty as far as what's going to happen down here in the future. So
Bobby Marks joins us. Of course, yesterday it was just one of those mammoth days that we'll remember. I'm certain forever, as far as what the NBA players did and their boycott of the postseason games, which apparently they're not going to get started back up again until Saturday. I wanted to get your thoughts on that and the resumption of their season down in the bubble, because we do have to ultimately talk about basketball, the effect, the time between actually playing, boycotting, and then playing once again may or may not affect players and teams down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think from what and you're right, yesterday was kind of a surreal day. It was almost like back in mid-March when the season stopped because of, the coronavirus. It felt like it was kind of deja vu, but certainly different circumstances. I think I certainly support, what the players are doing. And I think the one thing that if you're going to go that way in that direction, as far as I guess we can call it strike or boycott protest, is that you better make sure there's a plan in place, right? Just don't do it and then all of a sudden say you want to go home. Like, what is the plan in place? I think we saw that with Milwaukee. They spent a couple hours in that locker room, and they made a call to the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, as far as to try to figure out what's going on. And I think they certainly made a difference there. And then I think the meeting last night, certainly this morning, I think players have a great platform down there. I mean, I think, we all know about LeBron James, but I think guys like George Hill and Fred VanVleet and certainly Jaylen Brown have really moved into not just a sports world, but the national attention as far as their voice that is being heard down there. So, and I think they've got players have a lot of power, right? Like, not just the NBA and the NFL and MLB and all the other leagues here. So I think I support what they're doing. I think playing is probably the right way, because I think their message probably gets lost if we wound up wiping out this season. I think it kind of does become a little bit forgotten there.
So Bobby Marks with us. A couple of things before I let you go here, and thanks for coming on. And one is this thought. Last time Kevin Pritchett was on, he talked about how he was giving much more of a voice regarding decisions organizationally with the players in mind. I mean, really taking, more of their thoughts than he ever have. I'm assuming that around the NBA, that's something that has been going on now for a while. Where's the line drawn in the sand there? I mean, from somebody that was involved in it like you have been, where's the line drawn in the sand compared to listening to the players and, making decisions that you're ultimately going to be on the hook for?
Yeah, I think probably the line, how you draw a line in the sand is that, you don't want to make a decision, an irrational decision, right? I think that's the big thing. I think what we've seen more is that, players and front offices and coaches, I mean, even last night when you have coaches involved in that meeting, that it's important to have for everyone to have a voice, not just the players. And I think that's how a lot of these different proposals kind of get flushed out, or what the next step is going to be, is that it's not a one-sided thing. It's this is not about money, right? Guys were not striking because they're looking for money or another contract here. This is kind of a social justice type movement here. So, yeah, I mean, you have to adapt. I mean, you have to adapt kind of where the players are this day and age compared to where it was maybe 15 years ago. And it is different. You do have to give the players, certainly a platform here, but I think it's important, that, there is kind of a little bit of a give and take from a front office, from a coach, from players, that everyone is heard, and it's not just one-sided.
Yeah, it's Bobby Marks with us. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, we had talked about a couple of different times Victor Oladipo, and then kind of the waffling and the drama that occurred at the beginning of July. From watching what you watched at the Pacers, what did you think about Oladipo in ultimately his quest to try to get back to what he had 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I remember we had the conversation in early, I think when it happened in early July, and I think you had asked me, like, is there a chance that he played? And I said, yeah, we live in America, right? Like, guys can.
Yeah, right on the money, yes.
Yeah. You could change, and he did, so I give him credit for playing. I think he was not Victor Oladipo pre-injury. I think he's still trying to work himself back. But now, the Pacers are faced with a decision, right? I mean, the guy is going into and I wrote about it in the last year of his contract. He's extension eligible for $113 million. Likelihood is he probably turns that down and tries to bet on himself that he gets back to that all-star level. And now it's all about the comfort level with Kevin and Victor and Victor's agent. If there's a deal to be had when he becomes a free agent, how much does he trust Victor and his agent? And if there's not that trust level, then you probably have to look in a different direction. But there's no short bet that Victor's a $32 million player. Just because he was an all-star in 2017-18, that's not the bet anymore.
Yeah. The other thing is, regarding playing small ball, they had to do that by virtue of Sabonis being injured going into the bubble. Do you think this Pacer team stays? I guess it's regards to what coach they bring in, but it'd be hard-pressed for me to believe that they go back to having two bigs in the starting lineup again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the seeding games kind of gave you, certainly a good test run, with basically playing, Miles at the 5 and really going, going small there. It will be interesting because you have two capable bigs, and how you kind of work that, how you work that out. I mean, the goal would have been to kind of use the seeding games in the playoffs to figure out if both guys work together. And I know there was a sample during the year, but we never saw it again. So it is going to be interesting. That's going to be, that's probably question number 2 as far as style, play, and how those two fit.
Bobby Marks with us, ESPN. He's the front office insider via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Thanks for hopping on today. I appreciate that, and I'm sure as we get closer and closer, whenever that might be, to a new hire, we'll reel you back in and talk you up again.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
You got it. Bobby Marks of ESPN on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Grady, top of the hour. Mike Chappell in the 5 o'clock hour. Colts are off today. We'll get into that coming up in just a little bit, too, and talk to Mike about the Colts and the startup of the NFL regular season. We got a race of the day today, too. We got a race of the day coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. A lot more for you. We got a Colts Classic game coming up later on tonight. Colts and Buccaneers. Anybody remember that game? How many of you went to bed on that Monday nighter? I know a lot of you that just completely lied out your ass and went to bed. So many of you did. It's a Colts Classic tonight at 7 o'clock following instant replay. Quick break. We're back with you. Grady, top of the hour, 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
School's back, and you can win $100 in a Sprout account from Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Major League Baseball is here. PointsBet is ready to go yard with $10 for every homer hit. Why? Well, they figured home runs are pretty cool, but why not make them epic? So now, when a ball goes yard, $10 in free bets goes into your pocket. Ball breaks a windshield in the parking lot? You guessed it, $10 in free bets goes in your account. The more balls sent deep, that's right, the more free bets you get. So batter up and get ready to let it fly. $10 in free bets every home run your team hits. Download the PointsBet app today. Use promo code Indiana. PointsBet. Stay sharp. PointsBet is a proud partner with the Hollywood Casino, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Must be present in Indiana. Must be 21 plus. Additional terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
WeGrowHairAndy.com. So your reflection the other day and you hard-targeted hair loss on the crown. I don't know, receding hairline. If you're over 35, eventually it is going to catch up to... if not all, certainly most of us. 317-522-2995. If you want to lay the groundwork to have your real growing hair respond, you can get it done. And PAI can get it done for you. PRP, platelet-rich plasma, is the technique they utilize to get your real growing hair again. Get that private consultation and know that you have options in hair regrowth with PAI. 317-522-2995 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Geodis is a global logistics and supply chain company operating in Plainfield and Clayton, Indiana, now hiring for full-time, part-time, and seasonal forklift operators, pallet jack operators, and material handlers. Paying $15 to $18 per hour, working for Geodis is more than a job. It's working for a great, safe company paying competitively where your experience matters. Geodis offers growth opportunities with flexible schedules, benefits, and opportunity for advancement. To start your career with Geodis, visit their careers website to apply online at www.workatgeodis.com. Keep rising. Geodis is an equal opportunity employer.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in just 3 easy steps. 1. Get your free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with your check in as little as 30 minutes. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Hey, it's JMV for LD Smith Plumbing at 317-284-9526. They're the absolute best, and one thing you don't want to live without is a battery backup on your sump pump. And right now, LD Smith Plumbing is offering a free primary sump pump with installation on a battery backup system in your home. 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing. The best at following CDC recommended guidelines. For more info online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Listen up, DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all their customers, including one lucky winner who will take home a $1 million cash prize. To claim your share, all you have to do is download the app, sign up using promo code WFNI, then enter DraftKings free football survivor pool. While the top prize is reserved for one lucky winner, everyone who signs up and enters DraftKings free football survivor pool will receive an instant bonus prize of at least $5 in value upon entering. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code WFNI to claim your share of $100 million in instant giveaways and put yourself in the running for $1 million cash top prize. That's code WFNI only at DraftKings. You got to be 21 or older, Indiana only. Other terms and conditions and restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's John. Well, back to school this year looks a lot different. How are your kids doing right now, by the way? You got a little hybrid e-learning going on? You back to school fully right now. It is difficult for students and teachers, and Forum Credit Union is here to help, awarding $25,000 in educator grants. So easy to sign up for these grants, and obviously educators and teachers can use them for classroom materials and items needed to support virtual learning. All this is so important. Shout out to our teachers and educators out there. Forum Credit Union, in fact, has awarded over $150,000 to local classrooms since 2014. Kevin and the gang are the best. If you want to apply, if you want to learn a little bit more, all the information is there for you right now. That's forumcu.com.
See IndyCar in person and enjoy great camping in 2021 at Road America. The $111 four-day tickets available for a limited time at roadamerica.com.
The Colts and Bucks face off in a classic from 2003. Tonight at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
JMV does not suck at all.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Sounds like a good Connecticut water question of the day. How many of you actually lied because you really did go to bed back in 03? Oh, so many people back in the day, and I remember I was producing for Mark. Hell, I think Mark went to bed. I don't think Mark knew what happened when he got up in the morning. Everybody was lying about staying up for that one. Somebody's giving me a Miles trade scenario from the NBA Analysis Network. Jeremy's a really good participant to this show. Let's see what you think about this, Kyle. The Pacers trade Miles Turner and a 2020 second rounder for Patty Mills, Trey Lyles, and a 2020 first rounder. I think that sucks, is what I think about that, Jeremy. Man, you just want to give away 33 here. That's what you want. You're just giving them away. Oh, but that first rounder. Yeah, okay. Well, look at the first round. What first rounder? Give me a first round name here. A first rounder like TJ Leaf? You're not just going to give 33 away, are you? Come on, man. JMV, I totally went to bed on that comeback against Tampa Bay. When I got to work the next morning, my boss asked if I had seen it, and I admitted that I went to sleep. Mike in Portland, Oregon, solid work right there. By the way, my coworkers proceeded to roast me all day about it. I committed to lie about those situations ever since. And a lot of people around here did the same thing. It's from Jeff A. Hey, JMV, the NBA players have every right to speak their mind, boycott games, and protest. However, all actions have consequences, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And that's what I was talking about, Jeff A., a little bit earlier. People were saying, well, what are these guys, what's on the line here? What are they giving up? What's the price they're going to pay? It was like there was a real stupid tweet like that last night. There's a lot on the line here. A lot. It's a good email, Jeff. Hey, JMV, maybe I'm missing something, but why does Mike D'Antoni's name keep surfacing? He has a coaching job already. Why would he want to leave Houston? Well, part of it is the assumption that he and ownership in Houston don't get along, and that regardless of what happens in the bubble in Orlando, they were going to go after a new head coach anyway. And that has been talked about for a while. So that is why. And because somebody told me back in early July. JMV, can we swing a multiplayer deal where the Pacers give up Turner and get LeBron, KD, Harden, Antetokounmpo, and Embiid? Yes. Yes.
You can even throw in TJ Lee for your troubles.
Yes. Calvin says, a buddy just sent me this. Thoughts? My initial ranking of Pacers potential head coaching candidates. Kenny Atkinson, Adrian Griffin, D'Antoni, Jager, Darvin Ham, Mark Jackson, Jason Kidd. Like, it was 1 through 5 until Darvin Ham, and then 645 and 646 with Mark Jackson and Jason Kidd. Where's Tyronn Lue on that list? Where's he going to end up? Philly? Tyronn Lue? Or Brooklyn? Now, we'll talk Grady's going to join us top of the hour. We'll ask him that question and more. Mike Chappell in the 5 o'clock hour. Grady-O's coming up with us. Other side next.
One of the great things in life is intimacy. It's a key part of how we express ourselves and share with the person we love. Physical, emotional, and spiritual intimacy. As much as we want to share that intimacy, there are times it just doesn't seem to work out. 40% of the time in men over 40, it just doesn't work. Many couples go months and sometimes years without addressing erectile dysfunction or other sexual issues in what can easily be resolved with just one visit to the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Our Indiana licensed providers use FDA-approved medications to get intimacy back into your relationship in just one visit. There is no need to wait any longer. We are here for you, both of you. Call 999-9000 to set up a private consultation. 999-9000. The clinic visit, evaluation, and testing of the medication is just $99. IndyMen'sClinic.com for more information. 999-9000.
Hey, John here. Postseason NBA going on. Or will start going on again. And where's the place where you can have a lot of fun? It's called FanDuel Sportsbook. And what a great deal to take advantage of right now. A special plus 2,000 odds on any team to make the NBA Finals. Just pick any team, even the favorites. Bet $10 for your chance to win $200 if that team you select makes it. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and get started. Be sure to sign up with the promo code JMV. That is big. Do it. The promo code JMV. FanDuel Sportsbook. That's FanDuel Sportsbook. More ways to win. 21 plus, present in Indiana. New users only. Must wager on designated boost market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Every play is a play to bet on. Whether it's who scores next, a three-pointer, or a free throw, it could be the play that matters to you. So bet live at Unibet Sportsbook. Live betting options for every moment of the game. Sign up today and get $250 in risk-free bets. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
The buying power of Payless Liquor's 26 stores is a huge benefit to customers here in Central Indiana. It means lower prices, but it also means unique opportunities for extraordinary taste profiles. Take the new Larceny Bourbon Barrel, for example. We tasted our way through several barrels, found the best one, had it bottled, and then shipped here for you to enjoy. And only at your local Payless Liquor locations will you be able to purchase what we picked out. Great prices, unbelievable selection, open 7 days a week, and online at PaylessLiquors.com. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors. Hey, Dan Doggett here. The Firehouse Subs family of restaurant owners and local crews are proud to continue to serve you the hot, hearty, and meaty subs you crave every day. Right now at Firehouse Subs, you can get any 3 medium subs from our family favorites, the Hook and Ladder, the Firehouse Meatball, or the Italian. Then add your choice of 3 bags of chips, 3 freshly baked cookies. It's a full family feast for just $24. Order online. We'll have your family meal deal bagged, boxed, and ready for easy pickup. Go to firehousesubs.com.
Bet on the game while you watch it. Live streaming of matches with loads of in-game betting options. Download BetRivers Sportsbook or go to BetRivers.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Hey, join me tomorrow, 12:30. Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, is going to join me. Chris Ballard, 12:30. Join me tomorrow.
The Ride with JMV.
You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of damn nerds.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Michael Grady on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bet Rivers Sportsbook.
93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan. Request line we go for Michael Grady from 96. Here's Mark Morris and a return to the Mac on The Fan.
Not a great start to this.
How do you like that?
Start to this segment.
Hey, how do you like that for an intro right there?
It's not a great start.
I even smashed the post for you, just for you, right there.
My man.
I guess I've never really. I don't know if we've ever talked about why you so dearly hate that song. Have we?
No, I don't think so. And I may have mentioned it even once or twice. It didn't go into detail, back in the day. But when you and I both were into music, and there was we listened to the radio station, and it just seemed like every 10 minutes that song came on. And so that intro would hit, and then and it got to the point where I just got completely tired of it. But most other folks didn't get tired of it, and they love it. And I'm just one of the few people that wants to stab my eardrums when it's played on a commercial, on the radio, or when Marlon Mack gets the first down. So that's the backstory there.
I'm assuming they rock that tune often in the tri-state area where you are right now, don't they?
No, I hear it on the commercials, and it's just every now and then, our friends on social media.
Oh yeah,
will put something on my Twitter feed. So those are the rare times that I come across it.
It makes a lot of sense too. I think we all have that one song that kind of burns our brain a little bit, and you dislike it. And I don't know, I may have found the new open. I mean, if I'm able to hit the post like that every week, I think we've got a segment here.
Well, it was good being on with you.
Good 2.5-minute interview. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good 2.5 minutes.
Be like my interview with Kelvin Sampson. Hey, click.
Right.
So, Michael Grady joins us. Hey, before we get into the Pacers and obviously the change of head coach, I want to get your thoughts on the boycott yesterday and the stance that the NBA players have obviously taken. And I mentioned this because I saw this a lot in social media, and that's something you really, speaking of burning your brain, it can really burn your brain during really serious stuff like this was, the players have no risk to be taken here. I mean, they're millionaires, blah, 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 but there's significant risk here to me for them to take. And, it's their platform, it's their stance, it's their belief, and I'm down with the program.
Yeah, a lot of folks were tuning in yesterday or looking forward to tuning in at some point in the day and looking to watch Giannis Antetokounmpo potentially knock out the Orlando Magic in the NBA playoffs and see his performance, or see Chris Paul go against James Harden once again and would Russell Westbrook play, or see LeBron and them try to close out the Portland Trail Blazers without Damian Lillard. And instead, we had this discussion, once again, this continued discussion, but a heightened discussion about social justice issues and racial equality in America. And I saw announcers put in these positions where, they thought they were going to be announcing buckets, but instead they're but instead they're talking about a very important issue in this country. And meanwhile, behind the scenes, the players are having intense discussions as to whether or not to continue the season, what action they need to take to really bring about change. And, you know, I'm proud of these guys. And this is the discussion that was had all day. And some people, you know, chose to turn a blind eye to it. Some people may have been frustrated by it. Some people may feel like they're getting inundated with, you know, constant talk about race or whatnot. We are, and so many are speaking up and saying, we are inundated with too many situations of racial inequality, police brutality, and it is time for it to, it is past time for it to stop. And if someone looks at that and says there's an oversaturation of the message, these are people who, again, I'm going to pray for, and they're not paying attention. The people who are allies, who understand the situation, who, even though they may not look like a George Floyd or a Jacob Blake or a Breonna Taylor, still see themselves in that particular, and still see themselves in that person, are empathetic to that person, their family, even though they don't look like them, they come from a completely different background. That's the progress that we want to see. And so in terms of what are the players risking or any of that type of stuff, look, we had a continued discussion yesterday. We saw continued commentary on it yesterday. Jacoby Brissett, I'm sure he's proud of some of the stuff that he's accomplished on the football field. He still has aspirations to start, still wants to do a lot of things in his football career. But Colts players getting players and coaches registered to vote, I'm sure some who have never registered to vote before, is an action step. These players putting pressure on governors in the NBA or ownership in other sports leagues and opening up their venues for voting centers, as we see with Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Lucas Oil Stadium. Other measures that will continue to be discussed and that will happen in the community. It's happening in part because of these finger quote spoiled millionaire players who people feel just put a ball in the hoop. It doesn't, I really don't care who's at the forefront of bringing about change. We all have a responsibility to play in it. And we know, you know, George Hill and Broad Ripple in those days and IUPUI and going to the league. And this is a young man who has made great money, and we've watched him grow up right in front of our eyes. And he is a hell of a basketball player, and he has an opportunity to win a championship. And I'm sure at the end of the day, he would love to go hoop. At the end of the day, he would just love to play basketball. And he has made the decision along with his teammates. He's right there at the forefront for anybody who saw the video, reading the team message. This is important to him. This is important to him as a black man, as a human being. And to make a statement and to say that there's going to be continued discussion about action steps to really bring about change so that we can move forward. We can go to sleep at night and feel like we are on a level playing field when it comes to respect. And there was a statement from Masai Ujiri, who went through the very public situation of the Raptors win a championship. He's making his way down on the court in Oakland, and a police officer just shoves the bleep out of him. And Ujiri, who is the team president, this is his first championship. You know, obviously with the Raptors, he wants to celebrate with his guys. He's showing this police officer his credential, and he gets shoved a second time. And people come in and break it up and like, you don't understand. This guy is the president and the general manager of these guys. He needs to get on the court. He's showing you his credential. So that video wasn't released right away. And this officer, months later, files a lawsuit against Ujiri, says that he suffered injuries to his teeth, his jaw, his head, and his chin, and that he is suffering mentally and emotionally from this encounter with Ujiri. Well, just within the past week or so, the body cam video was released. And the officer was the aggressor in this situation. And Ujiri put out a public statement now that the truth had come out. He's filed a countersuit himself. And he says, the statement that stood out to me was that he, even in this suit, even as someone who is the team president, is looked at far too often as someone who is unworthy of respectful discourse. And this is where we're trying to get to, where no matter what you look like, no matter what walk of life you come from, whatever it may be, we all could make a mistake here or there. No matter where we come from, no matter what we look like, we are all worthy of respectful discourse, and that's what we're fighting towards. That's what we're working towards. If this was a country where we are worthy of respectful discourse, then we wouldn't see the disparity that we see in terms of the brutality that has really caught America's attention right now. Okay, there are a lot of issues, a lot of stuff going on, and things like that. I completely get it. And there are a lot of issues at hand. But racial inequality is something that's been deeply rooted in this country for far too long. And we may say, well, this case necessarily wasn't a motivating factor, or this case wasn't necessarily a motivating factor. Calm down. If it happens once, that's far too much. And it's happened far too many times. So I applaud these athletes who are speaking up, using their voice, having conversations about action steps that they can continue to take. And just at the stem of it, again, the last thing I'll say is just the conversation of what are they risking and what's the point and all this other type of stuff. Seeing yourself in a Jacob Blake, you know that you already were having feelings where you were on the fence as to whether or not you wanted to go in Orlando in the first place. And then you say, all right, we're going to use this platform, let our voices be heard. We have Black Lives Matter on the court. We're going to continue this whole conversation. And so for other incidents to happen since they've been in the bubble, and you can understand that just with a heavy heart, you may not feel like playing anyway. And so to decide not to play, have discussions, and continue to have meetings about what we can do to really bring about change, that's far more important than dribbling a basketball. I know that's a long answer, but I'm so happy to see what George Hill is doing. I'm happy for anybody who steps up and speaks up for change. These guys are doing it on a bigger platform, but everybody listening right now has a platform, whether it's your living room, whether it's your workplace, whatever it may be. We may not be a George Hill, but each and every one listening right now has a platform, and we can take steps in terms of whether it's our own hearts, the hearts of people in our households, about a change that really isn't a political issue. It's a human issue. And that's why we're so passionate about it, John.
He is Michael Grady with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. By the way, the NBA, which boycotted the games yesterday, is at least expected to resume play in the postseason with the Orlando bubble coming up on Saturday, which is a story that we will follow. So Michael joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. The other significant story around here yesterday was that of Nate McMillan. And listen, we've been through the luck era around here, so nothing surprises us any longer in sports. I mean, there's nothing we're going to get sideswiped by and absolutely surprised. But we were taken by that storyline yesterday. I'd actually heard, Michael, back in early July that the players were kind of tired of the offense here and kind of tired of Nate, and a guy that had been hard targeted. And I was thought it was interesting because he has a gig, was Mike D'Antoni, the 70-year-old coach down in Orlando for the Houston Rockets, who's still coaching right now. And then we kind of put that on the back burner for about a month, went through this entire Vic saga, this soap opera that went on. And then we saw these games down there and weren't happy with the 4-game sweep at the hands of the Heat. So I guess my long question to you would be, is this the move you think that needs to be made by this Pacer organization right now?
I believe, I'm a big fan of Nate McMillan, and I'll start it off this way. I feel it's unfortunate that he was not able to enter the postseason these last 2 years with a full and healthy roster. And so as you say, it is what it is. These type of things happen in sports. We've been following, this league for a very long time, and these things happen just about every year. And this year, it got Nate. And it happens it happens really far, too often. Rick Carlisle, is it his fault that Ron Artest is crazy? There's just something where you go, was this really the coach's fault? And so Nate gets pigeonholed into, well, he coaches this particular style, and the NBA is going this way. And then I look at Nate, and Nate has said the same thing. Well, he has to work with what you give him. Okay, it's a three-point shooting league, but you give me Doug McDermott, and the other guys are streaky at best. So, okay, the league is moving in this direction, but this is the personnel that I have to work with. I have to get the most out of these guys. And so the unfortunate thing is he's going to leave here, given the players that he had to work with, and still have the perception from the outside that he's not really a coach for today's NBA because his teams traditionally aren't good three-point shooters. Well, that he's working with what Pritch gave him. So that's an unfortunate thing from Nate's standpoint because we don't truly know if he had a roster of three-point shooters, what this offense would look like and how successful they would be. Never mind the fact that he has the lack of, that he's unlucky in terms of, well, damn, Victor Oladipo went down, or damn, Domantas Sabonis isn't available for the postseason, or Jeremy Lamb isn't available, or damn, Miles Turner hasn't added anything to his game in 5 years. Like, this is not all on Nate. So if it's a D'Antoni, JMV, or if it's Diet D'Antoni and Kenny Atkinson, the roster is going to have to look different. The roster is going to have to look different if they're going to be successful. And guys who, if they're keeping guys on the roster, they're going to have to really work on their three-point shot. You definitely expand the court if you're an offense that likes to shoot more threes. But if you're bricking those threes, you're an easy team to defend. Milwaukee, Toronto, your Golden States in their primes, Houston right now, they're high-volume three-point shooting teams, but they're also effective shooting teams. But we've also seen it, especially when it comes to Houston, it bites them in the butt. D'Antoni is going to live and die with his philosophy, and let's just say he has died a lot. And they struggled in the last game against the Oklahoma City Thunder because all that three-point shooting that was hot in the first three quarters of the game, they went ice cold in the fourth quarter. And that's the roller coaster that you have to live with a Mike D'Antoni-style offense, okay, as opposed to we're going to get the best look available. His thing is live and die with the three. I've mentioned this before about Kenny Atkinson. He only wants to see layups or three-pointers. If you shoot a mid-range shot, you're going to the bench. Period. That's it. We had one particular game this season, or a season ago, where the Nets shot one mid-range shot between the paint and the three-point line. Only one the entire game. And Kenny was the happiest that I've ever seen him. It was unbelievable. So that's the style of offense that Kenny Atkinson, who was a disciple of the Mike D'Antoni coaching tree, that's the kind of offense that you would get. I think Kenny Atkinson, my time with him in Brooklyn, a terrific guy, learned a lot in his first year as a head coach. A lot of guys, when it's their first head coaching job, John, they take their lumps and then they learn from it. And so he was admittedly stubborn very early on, and then toward the end started, giving more responsibilities to an assistant coaches, trusting more people, that type of thing. And I think he was really learning on the fly as a head coach. Unfortunately, the perception for Kenny in Brooklyn was that we really don't think this is the guy to coach Kyrie and Kevin and get them to the promised land again. And so that's why Kenny didn't last in Indiana. But he is absolutely a head coach in the NBA. The D'Antoni thing, Kenny Atkinson may be flexible in terms of his philosophy. D'Antoni is not flexible in his philosophy. Those boys are going to shoot threes, and that's it. So if that's the direction that the Pacers decide to go, this roster is going to look very different, John.
Well, it's, I guess, not surprising, but the thing we discussed a month ago, Michael, was, to me, it was a rumor that I brought up about D'Antoni, was obviously what you brought up. The whole personnel situation just doesn't seem to mesh whatsoever right now. But the other thing that didn't seem to mesh would be how much money you would have to pay him. And especially in the midst of a pandemic, when you don't know when you're going to play again, when you don't know when you're going to have fans again, it would be, to me and others, completely unlike the Pacers to bring in an incredibly high-dollar coach. But to learn from J. Michael, the star today, that Herb Simon had a loud voice in wanting to make this change, does that, to you, change the dynamic at all as far as that opinion's concerned?
No, I mean, I'm not one to tell people what to do with their money, but the Pacer fans have been loud about, please, Simon, spend money on this basketball team. Like the balling on a budget approach to building a basketball team is not going to win you a championship. And all, folks listening, watching this team for years, and they've been real close and been on the cusp, but they couldn't really get over the hump because they lost the high-priced stars from other teams. And so Simon may have been very loud in terms of, I want to make this coaching change. But from a Pacer fan perspective, I want to be just as loud in terms of, okay, who you going to spend money on? Okay, you're going to bring a coach in. You're going to bring D'Antoni in. Even from D'Antoni's perspective, I just got done coaching James Harden and Russell Westbrook. And then before that, it was James Harden and Chris Paul. Who are you going to spend money on? Who are you going to give me here in Indiana? What checkbook? You go open up your checkbook, and who you bringing here for me to coach? Because I'm not coaching a couple of, a bunch of C dudes, maybe a B dude here or there, and then expect to win a championship in Indiana. What are we doing? So if you're going to make this head coaching change and you're going to bring in a high-priced coach like Mike D'Antoni, well, damn it, bring in some high-priced players and give this franchise a real opportunity to win an NBA championship. If that's what you're here for, if that's what we're here for, spend the money. So I don't have it, even though I have an appreciation for Coach McMillan. I don't have an issue with the change. If you're going to be ambitious about the head coach that you're going to bring in, I haven't seen Popovich make one basket in his career. I didn't see him make one basket for the San Antonio Spurs. Steve Kerr, we saw him make buckets with the Bulls and the Spurs, but with Golden State, I didn't see Steve Kerr make any buckets alongside Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant. I didn't see Ty Lue make a bucket with LeBron. And I say all that not to diminish the value and the importance of head coaches in this league, but stars matter, right, Phil Jackson?
Yeah, and you're also speaking to the personnel, which is something we've talked about too. I mean, personnel-wise, again, in the middle of where we are right now, that sounds like maybe not a complete overhaul, but a significant overhaul.
Yeah, it's like and I'm speaking to the whole scapegoat situation because a lot of people will point fingers at Nate, and I never felt like that's fair with Victor Oladipo looking like just a slower and just not as engaged version of himself, And as we've talked about before, Miles Turner not adding things to his game. And, of course, Domas not being available. And so, I mean, the head coach and the philosophy certainly will help things out and certainly will give you a chance. But if that coach, from a personnel standpoint, doesn't have a whole lot to work with, then we're going to run into the same issue again. Or there's going to be Twitter commentary about how D'Antoni can't get it done. And what is he doing? And, man, we should be this, and, man, we should be that.
Of the
that's where I'm coming from. You have to open, if you're going to bring in a head coach, well, open the pocketbook too.
Yeah, well, I mean, people around here would be thrilled with that. It was tough for me to understand if that was going to be the path. How difficult a scenario, especially given the circumstances economically that surround each organization right now, how viable of an option that might be. Michael Grady joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Before I let you go, we got 5 head coaching positions, 5 openings right now, including the one that you cover there in Brooklyn. If you were going to rank the 5, where would the Pacers be in that hierarchy?
This is just off the top of my head. What is it? New Orleans, Indiana, Philadelphia,
Chicago,
Indiana, and Chicago.
Yeah.
Indiana's ahead of Chicago. I would put Indiana ahead of. I know Chicago's a bigger city and it's enticing in a number of different ways, but Indiana is still more enticing than Chicago. Philadelphia, the market. Me personally, I would want nothing to do with Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons is injury prone. But I can see someone feeling how in that market you can get something done. But they're doing a complete overhaul, which may put Philadelphia even on even playing field with Indiana from that standpoint, given the complete overhaul that they could see there. And then New Orleans with Zion, if you can get him on a diet, like that whole situation, you feel like there's some promise there. And then Brooklyn, you have
not everybody can eat like you, man. Come on. Not everybody eats a piece of lettuce for lunch.
I should be on the phone with Zion helping him out. But you understand how enticing that young man is. He's just going to shorten his career if he doesn't trim his weight. It's just as clear as day. And then for Brooklyn, you have an opportunity to win an NBA championship, next season if that group can gel. So you put them at the top of the list, even though their choices are pretty much locked in and pretty much limited, and they're not going to have a wide scale search. So I would put Indiana as third or fourth on that list of the head coaching openings. That said, though, if you are choosing D'Antoni, not every franchise is going to be like we're a D'Antoni team. Like with Zion, I can't see D'Antoni being I think New Orleans is where I want to go. I don't really see him in Philly, honestly, with the core that they have there right now. So if the Pacers are flexible in terms of changing their roster, then if they have their sights set on D'Antoni or Diet D'Antoni and Kenny Atkinson, I feel like they're going to have a legitimate opportunity to do that. So the ranking system is a little bit tough because, one, it makes all of us Pacer people like, damn man, we're really low on the list. But in this particular case, if D'Antoni is your choice, lists don't really matter because these other franchises may not want D'Antoni.
Yeah, you might be right. Hey, I got a couple of minutes. Kyle's yelling at me right now, but I did want to ask you this. You used to yell at people too, so don't laugh.
Yeah,
you did. Anyway, Victor Oladipo, from what you have seen, the market value you would expect. He said that he wasn't 100%, but what you have seen, the market value that he might command. Should the Pacers want him back, and will he ever be in the ballpark of the Vic we saw 2 years ago here?
That's the really saddening thing about the whole Victor Oladipo situation, because if he's 100% healthy and going after it and looking like his old self, and you don't feel like he's 100% committed to the franchise, well, then you have a valuable piece that you can deal. The question that you asked about, could he return to the Victor Oladipo of old, given the injury that he suffered, and, what could the future hold for him? If we're having that question, every franchise out there that could be looking to bring him in is going to have that exact same question, which does nothing but bring his value down. So that's a tough situation. One, does this dude want to be here? If he does want to be here, how is he going to get back to the Victor Oladipo that we saw? Could he surpass that, or will we see something a little bit less than? If it's something that's less than, again, you're in a very tough situation in terms of your ability to be able to compete for an Eastern Conference crown, let alone an NBA crown, given the talent that's in the East. Miami's not going anywhere. Boston with Tatum and Brown, they're not going anywhere. The Toronto Raptors, as shocking as that is for a lot of people, including myself, I didn't think they were going to be as good as they were this season. They're not going anywhere. Giannis, unless he leaves, the Bucks, they're not going anywhere. So it's a tough situation, and Pritch and company, they have some tough decisions in terms of how to move forward. And for me, if he was 100%, and I was hearing I don't know if he's on the fence or whatever it may be, see ya, gone, bye. Let me find the best value that I can get, because Indiana is a place that you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You have to be all in. You literally have to be all in. So if you are, what's that meme with the guy with this girl and then he's looking back at another girl? Going, You know what I'm saying? Like
My life is what that meme's called. My life.
if that's a dude that plays for one of my teams, see ya, gone, bye. I'm not gonna try to work the relationship out, try to see if I can win you over, buy new clothes to make myself new appealing. No, you're gone. You're gone. So, but his health situation makes it very difficult. I'd imagine they're gonna make every effort to explore what's out there and what the market looks like. But the challenge is, when you look at tape of Vic, that's not Vic.
Yeah.
That's not Vic.
I know.
That makes it very tough, brother.
Next week, we're going to re-enter with Ja Rule. All right? Just for you. Oh, there. I'm going to do a little smile.
He's another one. He's another one on the
Either I'm clearing my throat or we're playing Ja Rule. I don't know which one, but something like that. So, hey, have a good weekend, man. It's always good to have you back. Thanks for hopping on as usual.
Appreciate it, and always looking forward to it, guys.
You got it, buddy. See you, Michael Grady. Oh, yeah. Ja Rule next week for him. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. I'm way over, my bad. Bobby Marks, Michael Grady, podcast 1075thefan.com. The Colts did not practice today. We shall explain and talk that up with Mike Chappell, top of the hour, 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com. Your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Hear ye, a new lunchtime challenger has entered the fray. Introducing Papadillas, folded crispy flatbreads filled with melty cheese, juicy meats, and tangy sauce for just $6. And behold, the newest member of this crunchy court, the grilled buffalo chicken papadilla with grilled chicken and zesty buffalo sauce that kicks like a jousting lance to the tongue for a mere $6. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Not valid with discounts, fees, and taxes extra. Prices may vary.
The buying power of Payless Liquor's 26 stores is a huge benefit to customers here in Central Indiana. It means lower prices, but it also means unique opportunities for extraordinary taste profiles. Take the new Larceny Bourbon Barrel, for example. We tasted our way through several barrels, found the best one, had it bottled, and then shipped here for you to enjoy. And only at your local Payless Liquor locations will you be able to purchase what we picked out. Great prices, unbelievable selection, open 7 days a week, and online at PaylessLiquors.com. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
Hey, it's John here, and what's that sound like? That sounds like a deep breath, breathing, something that I think sometimes you take for granted, especially inside your home. JMV here for Love Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, we know Love Heating and Air Conditioning this time of year to be great for your AC unit. In the wintertime, making sure you're warm and toasty in the house with the heat. But what about air purification? And something we have all learned, that the air that you breathe in your home is vitally important. And Love Heating and Air Conditioning has teamed up with iWave to make the absolute air that you breathe in your home the best. It's the best air purification unit out there, and all you got to do to get one and save $125 and mention my name. 317-353-2141 is the number. Just mention my name, and you'll get the iWave with $125 worth of savings. 317-353-2141. And remember, to Love Heating and Air Conditioning, following CDC recommended guidelines to maintain your health and your safety. Online, love-hvac.com today.
Hi, welcome to Spring Creek. $7 for the car. If you're looking for the campground, follow this road to the down tree, other side of Walnut Hill. Take a left, then immediate right toward the clubhouse. Reggie will see your tags and wave you through. Bug identification starts in 7 minutes on Rocky Ridge. Rafting's a no-go today, but kayaks are running. Stables are out past Whistle Creek, the other side of Shade Rock. You'll know it when you see it. Need a map?
You're good at knowing your way around a park. We're good at your insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Put an end to mealtime mutinies with Long John Silver's Family Meals. Mix and match chicken and fish and keep everyone happy. Visit longjohnsilvers.com to find delivery near you. Long John Silver's. Fish, yeah. Price and participation may vary.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Only at Big O Tires, buy 3, get 1 free on select sets of tires now through September 20th. Big Labor Day savings only at Big O Tires, the team you trust. If you need that diamond engagement ring or you're looking for a jeweler you can trust with your repairs, see Pierce Jewelers in Carmel. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
The Ride with JMV.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, talent, and I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Thank you very much, sir. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Bobby Marks, Michael Grady, podcast 1075thefan.com. Thank you for joining us today inside the lounge. The Lizards are there. Oh, JMV, wait until Katie and Kyrie walk onto the court with the guys who have been busting it all year. These two shooters are the offense and plays hero defense that will blow up before 2021 season is officially underway. Vic Marks writes that. Joan in Arizona, Sixers are a mess. The process failed badly. JMV, I'd like the Pacers to look at Kenny Atkinson, as you guys were talking about a moment ago. Never know. Hey, listen, the D'Antoni thing may be a pipe dream, but for some of you that have suggested to me, it's kind of a nightmarish situation. You want them to go young, you want them to go new, you want them to be fresh and not hire a 70-year-old guy that's been around the league once or twice or 25 times. JMV. So does Sabonis currently have trade value? Who works better in a D'Antoni system as a big? Sabonis or Turner? Come on now.
It's Miles.
It's
probably.
Miles. It is Miles by a mile. Because Sabonis can't face up. I think he wants to. I know everybody's laughing at me right now, but that's so true. Now, it's funny. I mean, Houston had a dedicated big man, a rim runner, and Clint Capella, and got rid of him and went to, basically their center being P.J. Tucker at 6'7". I wouldn't imagine if D'Antoni would be a guy here that's how they would go. But, if you're going to keep one of the bigs, I'm assuming that one big would have to end up going, right? But in that particular system, that one big that, at least on paper, eyeball-wise, that works better than the other would be Miles, even if a lot of you are wrecking your cars right now. Reggie Sykes writes this: Mark Jackson should be the first choice. I don't know if he's a candidate. Darnell writes this: JMV, the scouting department for the Pacers, how good do you think they are looking and scouting talent? Uh-oh. Speaking of wrecking cars, my man Ryan Carr's not liking this comment at all right now, D. Booker. Here's a question. Who has the best scouting department in the NBA? That's one I don't know. I don't know. My team, the Bulls, totally cleaned house. Ryan Carr is not liking that tweet right now, Darnell Booker. He's just not. It's from BT Do. Hey, JMV, on a side note, that video that you hit up on Facebook is pretty funny with Terry Nunn. I'll send that out via Twitter a little bit later. It's from 4 years ago. So I'm up, and I'm at the Lucas Oil Estate. It is not like what you think. I'm not up there with my silver spoon. It was a last minute thing, and I took my wife, Christy, and we were actually hanging out with Marlon Jackson a little bit up there too. But I took her, I think Kevin Julian, the awesome orthopedic surgeon around here for Greenwood Orthopedics and friend of the show, went with us too, met us there. Yeah. What, hoity-toity? Is that what you guys are calling me, hoity-toity? No, seriously, I was hungry, and I didn't want anybody to see me to eat, so I got a fork, and I harpooned, if you will, a huge piece of roast beef and took it behind this garage and ate it. I surely didn't belong there, but the interesting part is they had great entertainment. I forget what it was called. It was something like the Heart for something or other. a bunch of doctors, high-dollar thing. Clearly, I should not have been invited. However, I knew Kevin Julian. He was kind enough to invite me. But Terry Nunn, the lead singer of Berlin, was performing. And of this video, she's singing the Berlin pop favorite from the Top Gun soundtrack of the 80s, Take My Breath Away, and literally walking right next to me. And I laugh because it kind of from a distance, it looks like she's serenading me. But as she gets closer, you can tell she is trying her damnedest not to make eye contact with me. It's like, nope, not even. She's singing and just looking straight ahead. I'm not going to make eye contact with you, you goof. It is awesome. I always say that I was serenaded by Terry Nunn of Berlin, but in fact, she was looking at somebody else. Three Foolish Men drops this in. Billy Donovan is probably a long shot for the Pacers. They wanted him for IU. Yeah, I thought he bought a ranch. Didn't he buy a ranch down there? His wife was looking for a ranch? Looking for a ranch in Monroe County or something. That was really good back then. That was one of those great stories. I mean, that was right up. Buying a ranch was right up there with Mike Ditka and looking for a house back in the. That goes all the way back to the 90s right there. Biff Ward stories with Ditka buying a house. I mean, how many people have you seen at the airport? I mean, it's just been all over the map before. But the Donovan one was pretty good back then. You have to admit that. That's pretty good. Hey, JMV, I understand that Woj and his word is bond, but what other coaches are available should the Pacers target? Well, I mean, Kenny Atkinson is one if you consider the fact that the Pacers would in general want to target Mike D'Antoni. Atkinson is younger, a younger kind of version of it. So that is a name that's been knocked around. Those are really the only two that I've heard. I think Mark Jackson's name's just been thrown in there for the sake of throwing a name in there. Basically it. And we had talked about Mike D'Antoni a month ago. Now we'll see. I mean, it's going to be expensive, and you look at it right now and you're wondering how it makes sense with this roster makeup. Like, maybe it makes more than what you think, but I mean, it's tough to consider that right now. JMV, did you watch any of the coverage of Hurricane Laura? I did, because I've often said this. If I were going to go into the final stage and was still working, I've talked to Kyle Kinnett about this before too. I want Kyle to buy a shrimp company or a oyster company down on the Gulf in Louisiana, and I kind of want to work it. I want to live on a house on stilts. Now, about, I don't know, every 30 years or so, there's reasons why you don't want to live there, maybe why you shouldn't live there. But I've always wanted a house on stilts. What about you, Kyle? House on stilts? I've always wanted a house on stilts.
They always kind of freak me out. I'm always a little worried that they're going to they're just sort of in a strong wind, just sort of blow on over.
I love a house on stilts. So, yeah, you guys see me maybe bringing in a load of oysters from the bay, maybe some shrimp like Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan. Now, if I'm down in the Florida Panhandle, okay, I could go out and find some scallops. What do you guys think? Could I do that? Anyway, all the best of those, because that storm hit hard last night, to say the least. It's from Dave. My take, since the Pacers are looking for a new coach, who will be the best one to rebuild the team? I mean, you would think the younger version would be the better option. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you would be – it seems like you would be certainly retooling, if not rebuilding it, under the older D'Antoni. And we know this. I mean, the Pacers aren't going to want to lose. I mean, they're going to want to retool this thing on the fly, as always, and still maintain a winning edge in the regular season. You like it or not. Quick one, we'll come back. Mike Chappell, top of the hour. The Colts did not practice today. We shall talk about that and a lot more with time leading up to the start of the NFL season 2 weeks from tonight. That's what it is, right? Thursday Night Football 2 weeks from tonight. Think about that for a moment. 2 weeks from tonight. I guess probably it's scheduled where to watch football. We'll see. Mike Chappell with that. And we have a classic Colts game later on tonight from 03, the Colts and the Bucs. I'm going to ask Mike about this too. I know he didn't because he was actually down there covering it. But how many folks around here went to sleep, did not know until the next morning the Colts had come from behind and won, and then lied about it to everybody? Mike Chappell, top of the hour.
NBA playoffs are in full swing. Michelob Ultra wants to help you add to your man cave, so visit 1075thefan.com for a chance at winning a Michelob Ultra limited edition fridge.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from the Bill Estes Ford family in Brownsburg.
Rob, not now.
Whoa, Brian, you okay?
My family's schedule is so unpredictable right now, and that makes work more stressful.
I get it, Brian. When I get overwhelmed, I try to make decisions today that are safe, responsible, and well-informed. So tomorrow I'm better suited for whatever may come.
How?
Well, it's always safe to upgrade to a newer car and responsible to pay less for it. Right now, we've got great discounts on the cars you need to move your family around. Get $6,000 off any of our 2020 Escapes, 26th in stock. Get $10,000 off any of our 2020 F-150 XLTs, 47 in stock. Or choose 0% interest for 72 months on many of our great models.
And you'll be well informed by our sales team, not overwhelmed.
Feel better now, bud?
Today is better. Hey, want to grab lunch tomorrow?
Let's just stay in today, huh, Brian? Get $6,000 off any new Escape, get $10,000 off any new F-150 XLT. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
Here we go. FanDuel Sportsbook, great NBA postseason offer right now. How about plus 2,000 odds of FanDuel Sportsbook on the team of your choice to make the NBA Finals? $10 could, if you put that on the line, it could get you 200 if that team makes it to the NBA Finals. You can even pick the favorites too. It's FanDuel Sportsbook. Get going right now. Sign up using my promo code JMV. That's important. Using my promo code JMV. FanDuel Sportsbook. More ways to win. 21 plus. Present in Indiana. New users only. Must wager on designated Boost Market. Max bonus $200. See full terms. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
For one weekend only, join Summit Performance Indianapolis for a smart, witty, and COVID-19 conscious return to live theater. August 27th through the 29th at 6:30 p.m., Summit presents a live outdoor staged reading of Helen by Ellen McLaughlin at Allen Whitehill Clues Amphitheater on Marion University campus. Bring your own chairs, blankets, beverages, and snacks. No alcohol permitted. Parking's available, $10 per ticket plus processing fees. Recommended for ages 13 and older. Visit summitperformanceindy.com for information and a full list of COVID-19 precautions. As you shelter in place at home, now is the time to finally declutter. Quick Shred can help. From shredding old statements and files to recycling electronics like computers and flat screens, Quick Shred will work to protect your identity. You know, 1 out of every 3 people will be the victim of identity theft. Protect yourself and finally clean that stuff out of your home while you have the time to do it. Quick Shred will accept your items for easy drop-off curbside at 62nd and Binford. For rates and hours, QuickShredIndy.com. QuickShredIndy.com. We all see the world a little differently now. We notice little things we used to take for granted, like driving. Something as simple as just hopping in the car to go to work or take the kids to school. But roads don't just happen. They're built by men and women living in central Indiana. It's as easy to take those workers for granted as the concrete and asphalt you drive on. Members of Laborers International Union of North America maintain and build Hoosiers' roads, bridges, and highways. They're the ones you pass as you drive by the orange barrels. It's hard work. It's dangerous work. And yet there they are, doing the essential work to make sure you have a smoother, safer ride to your destination. And just like you, they want to get home safe too. So, sure, take the roads for granted, but remember the local workers who make them safe for you.
This is Ray Hobbs, business manager of Labor's Local 741. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, open your eyes, pay attention.
A message from Indiana's affiliated locals of Laborers International Union of North America.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com.
Mortgage interest rates are in the twos, and we are saving homeowners hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with an easy refinance. We're also making it so that you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments and get some cash out at closing. And if you're even thinking about buying a home, we can get you pre-approved the same day, and you can close on your new home in less than 30 days. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
At Unibet Sportsbook, we know that within every bettor, there's a bet so genius, no other person on this planet could have thought of it. It's called a parlay, a custom-made bet that says, today, my confidence level is on the money. Sign up today and get $30 free to use on your first parlay and enjoy daily parlay boosts at Unibet Sportsbook. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook, crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's JMV. While back to school this year looks different for our students and teachers, Forum Credit Union is here to help by awarding $25,000 in educator grants. It's easy to apply, and grants can be used for classroom materials and items needed to support virtual learning. Forum has awarded over $150,000 to local classrooms since 2014. Visit forumcu.com to learn more on how to apply. That's forumcu.com today.
Braves, Phillies, Sunday night baseball. The coverage begins at 6 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
What did you say? Said we need a water break. You need a water break. Water is for cowards. Water makes you weak. Water is for washing blood off that uniform, and you don't get no blood on my uniform. Boy, you must be outside your mind.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I'm John. Thank you for joining us. Lounge is open inside YouTube Live right now. Shout out to Ryan Stoltz is in there. New Belgium Brewing. We're at the Meggy's place, I think over in Greenfield tomorrow. And we're going to do the Backyard Bourbon broadcast, the third and final of 2020 coming up tomorrow. And New Belgium Brewing, Fat Tire Beer is going to be there. Heaven Hill Distillery. As always, I'm going to have a great deal for you with Connecticut coming up tomorrow. I'll get Joe on the horn, and we'll talk that up. I mean, always great deals. Oh, and shout out to Ford's Garage. Ford's Garage is going to bring the food. Ford's Garage has the JMV burger. Anybody out there had the JMV burger up there recently? It'll knock your socks off. Ford's Garage in Noblesville, they have been spectacular. Third and final coming up tomorrow with the Meggies. Anybody ever party with the Meggies? I think I pronounced their name wrong most of the week, so you're probably just now get. I think Meggie is accurate. That is tomorrow. I think my man Jimi Hendrix from Live Nation is going to roll over there because Live Nation is going to fire up something we'll talk about. I haven't had Jimmy on in forever. It is weird. I think the last show that I attended, it was Yacht Rock Review in January. That was like the 10th of January, I think. It's the last thing I've been to. Also saw this, courtesy of the Star. If you know Top Golf, I don't know anything about this. I've not been to Top Golf up in Fishers, but it looks outstanding. Looks like a good time. There's a new place that's going to go in near downtown, White River, near downtown, called the Flying T. Surely to goodness you're going to be able to knock golf balls into the river, right? That's what I'm hoping. The Flying T. Anybody ever heard of the Flying T? It sounds like some old school high school coach's offense. No, I know, the Wing T. That's Eric Moore's offense. The Flying T, however, is what it's called. Very reminiscent, I guess, to that of Top Golf. Going in near downtown. Uh-oh. Chris Brown just sent me this. Hey, JMV, I had a home on stilts on the Texas coast until Hurricane Ike made landfall 12 years ago. Careful what you wish for. Now, tell me this, Chris, if you're listening right now, is that what used to be Gilchrist, Texas? Because I remember I went on spring break back in 1982 in Gilcrest, Texas, which is near High Island, Texas, which is on the ferry boat side to get across Galveston Bay to get to Galveston. So basically you go from the Texas Gulf Coast line. One side of Galveston Bay has a bridge that leads you north to Houston. The other side, I don't know, they may have a bridge now, but back then it was a ferry. I mean, you got on a boat and you rode across. But I had friends and family members that had a home down there that was on stilts. It was on a canal, but basically right across the road from the beach. It was really cool. Seafood all the time. But I thought there was Hurricane Ike that wiped it out. It completely wiped those communities off the map. And that picture is reminiscent. Yeah, be careful what you wish for. There's no question about it. And shout out to those down in the state of Louisiana and eastern Texas on the coastline there going through that. Quick one, Mike Chappell on the other side. Colts didn't practice today. We'll talk about that. And 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL season, we hope. Mike Chappell, CBS 4 and Fox 59 next.
We've changed our model a little bit.
He's back.
I got to tell the story.
Michael Grady returns to The Fan.
I have to do something.
Once a week on The Fan Morning Show, Tuesdays at 9.
That's exactly what the majority of you wanted to see.
Listen for Michael Grady on The Dan Dockett Show, Wednesdays at 1.
That was a playoff-type atmosphere.
Then JMV and Grady hook up Thursday afternoons at 4. Michael Grady is back. Brought to you by Bet Rivers. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com. Your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Got you covered here with PAI. Seriously, dome coverage. If you're losing it right now, if you're going bald, if you can see it, your hair is thinning, a receding hairline, let Darren Andrews explain to you the techniques that can regenerate the regrowth of your hair. This is the real deal. It does work. All you got to do is look in the lounge right now and see me. I'm a great example of it. I mean, back in the day, you guys would take pictures of me at a game and go, hey, look at JMV up top. Man, there's a bald spot going on right there. And I went through PRP, multi-unit hair grafting, and it's uncontrollable right now. I mean, absolutely uncontrollable. I got to get a haircut like every 3 minutes. I mean, it's incredible, and it works. Real growing hair again. Nothing fake about it, nothing sprayed on, nothing glued on, nothing duct tape on. It's just a real growing hair again with PAI. Get that private consultation today, 317-522-2995. And you, too, could also need to get every 3-minute haircuts. It's WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Denny Smith here. My friends at Sundown Gardens are gearing up for a fantastic fall. All shrubs are 20% off now through August 30th. See all the hydrangeas, roses, ornamental grasses, and foundation plants like boxwood and yews. Mums and fall annuals have started to arrive. The gift shop is full of beautiful autumn-themed decor. There's even a fun Halloween section for indoor and outdoor decorating. Save the date for the fall open house, September 19th. Sundown Gardens at 186 and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Did you know Geico's now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies? That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Your dentist to actually believe you?
And you're flossing every day.
Absolutely.
Great. And you're cutting down on your sweets?
Of course.
Wonderful. Then I don't even need to look in there.
Great. See you in 6 months.
There's never been a better time to switch to Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Limitations apply. Visit geico.com for details.
Geico knows there are many reasons why you ride. From the thrill of the revving engine and pure adrenaline of flying down the highway, to the confidence of knowing that Geico always has your back with 24/7 access to claim service. But Ari Snyder has one reason in particular.
I have extremely large upper arms. They won't even fit into most shirts. Thankfully, biking really embraces vest culture, so I feel accepted.
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Pierce Jewelers is Carmel's full-service jewelry store where all watch repair, jewelry repair, appraisals, or custom design is done in-house. See them at piercejewelers.com.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. The NTT IndyCar Series races at Gateway, Saturday and Sunday at 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Hey, you gonna stare all day or you gonna buy something?
I'm gonna stare all day.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Matt writes this, JMV, having been to Top Golf a ton, the new place downtown will hopefully be a great addition. Man, we need some great additions. It's the first time I think today I came through downtown a different angle, and man, a lot of places don't look like they're coming back. Have you noticed that too, Kyle? Down on Washington, place I used to go for smoothies, now going to reopen. Doesn't look like Pear or whatever it is. Clearly Rock Bottom was going out anyway. That barbecue joint, Sugar Fire, doesn't look like it's going to reopen. It's boarded up. I mean, you have some major places to fill right now. Lots, if you will. Man, hopefully that comes back because it's been reminiscent. I said this yesterday. It's been reminiscent of the time when my parents dropped me and all my friends off when we were 15 here downtown to go see WWF Saturday Night Main Event. And the only thing you could do was go to that McDonald's inside the Hyatt. That was about it, especially if you're under, 21. Nothing to do. At JMV, you would be a great fit in the D'Antoni system. No D, just hang out on the wing with a sleeveless Allison Chain shirt on, jorts, and a knee brace. Bombs away. There's no doubt about that, Jared. You imagine me? I could be so much better. I could be better than P.J. Tucker in that corner. I mean, that's basically what he does. He waits in the corner to shoot that three. What did he have the most corner three-point makes in the NBA this year? P.J. Tucker? I think that's true. I don't think I made that up. Hell yeah, just find your spot on the floor and wait for somebody to jump up and pass it. I'm telling you, the old school coaches have to be driven nuts because if you guys are my age or younger, or hell, older especially, but if you're near my age, you were coached up by somebody that made you run stair laps, made you run balcony laps. If you threw a jump pass. If you jumped up to throw a pass and had no idea where it was going, once you left the ground, you were running laps. Now that's part of the offense. Part of the offense. Hey, BT let me know this. Sugar Fire and Rock Bottom and all that did not get their lease renewed. The owner has something planned for that. Hopefully so. Because it stands out. The jump pass. I can't even though I play pickup, I can't get myself to throw a jump pass. In part because I can't jump. But if I could jump, it was weird. Old school meet new school. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline, our friend from Beech Grove, has covered the Colts forever. Mike Chappell. We'll get into the reasons why there's no Colts get-together today, and we're 2 weeks out from the start of, we hope, the NFL season. But I do want to bring this up because tonight, the Colts Classic game on our station at 7 o'clock is from 2003, the Colts and the Buccaneers. And I know you were there, and I know you were up for it. I was up for it. I watched the entire thing, but I know a lot of people that went to bed and said, screw this, I got to get up on a Tuesday morning, and did not see the ending and then lied about it. How many of those did you know back in the day?
Yeah, it's funny. One of the great stories is that Peyton was telling us how he got home and his answering machine was just loaded. Sorry about the game. You guys will bounce back and don't let this get you down. And he said, what are you talking about? We won. So, yeah, when it was they're down 21, whatever it was, 35-14 with 5 minutes to play. And I've got that on tape. And I'm going to tape it too. But occasionally I put that in. And when Rondé Barber takes that pick six back, you're watching, and there's simply no time to come back. There's not enough things that have to happen for you to get the possessions. And damned if they didn't. That's one of those when back in the day when you actually wrote on deadline, Phil Richards and Bob Kravitz and Mark Alicia were there, and you've got your story. You have to write running because you have to have something ready to go when the game's over. And you get to a point where you just hit the delete button and you cuss a few times, and then you have to get your story done. So, and credit to the Star at the time for really pushing deadlines, because that game, it's one that when it's over, all you hope for is you got the score right and the team's right, and there's no curse words in your story because you're just going on the fly. But it was one of the all-time great stories. When I list my top 5 Peyton Manning stories, that's number one. It's just number one because it's a game where you can't win, and they won it.
It's later on tonight, 7 o'clock. Colts Classic game here with the Colts and the Buccaneers from 2003. The Pacers did not practice today. Recognizing, understanding, talking more about a lot of the issues that certainly professional players are talking about. Some boycotting regarding, certainly taking a stand. And then I'm assuming it's going to get back to it because, Mike, a week from tonight is what we believe to be the start of the NFL season. 2 weeks, I should say, from tonight.
2 weeks,
2 weeks from tonight. It's amazing.
Yeah, and one thing you said is we'll get back to it, and that's the problem is will this, what these guys do, and this is the most dramatic response we've had, not the Colts in whatever it was, 8 or 9 teams canceling practice, but the NBA postponing games last night, tonight, NHL baseball. Is it going to matter? And all you do is say, gosh, darn, I hope so, because, you know, what else can they do other than really going to the real extreme and canceling the rest of the NBA season, or the NFL canceling games, which I just don't see that happening. But we were here in mid-June when the Colts sort of paused their off-season work to really have some heart-to-heart with players, with the police shootings and with the unrest, and they took steps. You know, Jim Irsay took steps internally and in the community to help, and the players spoke out and all that. And Jacoby Brissett has his stuff down in Florida, and here we are again. That's my only concern is, how does it change? How do these players, with their strong voices and their major platforms, really, how does that message resonate where it needs to go? I don't know. All I know is you try to understand what's going on and where they're coming from. And I'm a 60-some-year-old white guy, and not one time in my life did I have a discussion with my son about what he needed to do when he was pulled over and how to handle himself. And I've got 2 grandsons, his 2 sons, and I don't know that he'll ever have to have that discussion. Well, 2 of my black colleagues, Stephen Holder and Mike Wells, you think they tell their offspring that every day? You know, now listen, and that's why, as much as we want to say, yeah, I understand, I get it, most of us don't, because on my life on this planet, I've never been pulled over, profiling or whatever, I'm just a knucklehead white guy. So I just hope that at some level this filters down, because I don't know what else athletes can do. You know, the only leverage they've really got is withhold services. That's their hammer. But unless that filters down to the necessary people, and one thing the Colts did today was they register all players and coaches to vote. That's where it really has to start. And I'm not, this isn't Republican, Democrats, just vote. And if you don't like what's going on, then do something about it. But I just hope that in 3 months we're not talking again about, here we are again, they canceled the practice on a Wednesday because something happened,
or a game.
That's what's so frustrating, because it just seems so common sense that this has to stop, and it doesn't. And it's so divisive. I mean, it's black and white, and I don't mean it a pun intended, but it's amazing to me how divisive this is. And you see one side or you see the other side, and I just hope that what they're doing now, and again, I think I read this was the first time the NBA's had postponements since, or a boycott, whatever you want to call it, since '61 when Bill Russell took a stand. And yet here we are again. So I just have to hope that somewhere at some level where it matters, the light goes on, and we're not having this discussion in 3 months because it happened again. And I wish I'd say I was optimistic, but right now I'm not sure why I would be.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59, he is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline and covering this team through their practices. And, of course, they had one earlier this week down at Lucas Oil Stadium. What stands out? What stands out in a positive as far as the on-the-field play that you thought was lacking a year ago but really stands out as being much better, at least through these workouts and practices you've seen?
Well, the number one thing that stands out is nothing stands out negatively, where you're thinking, "Oh crap, what are they going to do here?" But defensively, you really like the speed. And one thing we have to be careful of is we always, fans, media, we fall in love with guys in preseason and training camp, and then they disappear. And that can't happen with Taekwon Lewis. This is a second-round draft pick, and I'm telling you, if there's a guy who has emerged every day, it's been him on defense. You just notice that there is a sense of urgency. We talked to the guy about a week ago, and he's had the injuries the first 2 years, and it was very clear that the injuries really weighed on him. He lost his confidence, and you sort of saw that in the locker room with the body language, and it was just tough for him. And they need this guy to step up. He's got the size. He can play inside. He can play outside. And with the defensive line rotation, he could really be a factor. And then the fact that Sheldon Day's not practiced for a while with the knee, and Tomoko Ture hasn't practiced at all since with the ankle. He's still on PUP. So he's really stood out. Offensively, Trey Burton's looked really good, the tight end. I can't get over every time I see him play how small he is. He's 6'2", 238, and 238 looks generous, but he's making plays. Naheem Hines, Marlon Mack, the offensive line, that second half of the scrimmage, boy, I'm telling you, you might have got 10 yards on some of those carries. That's how big the holes were. But it's encouraging. Rivers has looked good. Brissett, not so much, but so what? And the kickers are one thing that we've been looking at. Chase McLaughlin, he's really looked good, and it would take a really bad week for him not to make this roster. He's got the experience from last year. I wouldn't have wanted to go into the season with a rookie kicker unless he was just that much better than McLaughlin, Blankenship. But McLaughlin's really, really kind of nailed that down, I think. So, by and large, my biggest takeaway from what we've seen in practice is nothing just – I'm not shaking my head saying, what are they going to do here? Yeah, you'd like to have – you're hoping to get better play from the corners and the secondary, and they're a little thin there maybe. And I still don't think they – if they like to carry four tight ends, there's really not a fourth one. They're probably going to carry three plus maybe Roosevelt Nix. But top to bottom, I like the way this roster has and is shaping up.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4, Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Do you think at some point, I know there have been a lot of teams that have made the decision not to have fans already. Still, some hope to have them, one including the Colts, at least as I sit here and speak with you right now, at a rate of 25% capacity. At some point, do you think the NFL just goes ahead to make sure that they have that balanced playing field and says everybody that everybody goes without fans? You think, or is it going to be up to again local, state and local governments and local teams to make those decisions, Mike?
I was expecting the league to come out and say something just because of the competitive balance, but I think I heard a clip from Bill Polian either on Sirius or on a local station here where he said, the commissioner does not have that power to legislate who has what fans and all this. Yes fans, no fans. So it's apparently going to be on state and local regulations, restrictions. I think I saw two more teams. Was it Philly and somebody else today? Buffalo, maybe, are not having fans at least for the first couple of games, maybe September. I still sort of expect the Colts to do that, but maybe not. And I've talked to some people with the Colts, and they very much want fans. Yes, for your team. I got to wonder what kind of advantage 15,000 fans in that stadium would be. It's not going to be, what it normally would be, obviously. But boy, downtown needs 15,000 people.
Boy, does it ever.
You just do, and that's why I heard you earlier about things shutting down while they reopen. You just have to have a reason for people to go downtown, and this would be it. I hope that's the case. I just see the way it's going, and they're going to have the fact they don't open until the 20th. They have some time, but I don't see where things are changing that much in Indiana or even Marion County to where you're thinking it's going to be better. So I understand them holding off.
Yeah, we're 4.5 for another 30 days or less than 30 days now,
that's
right?
What I mean.
Yeah.
So I just see that's coming, but I really think the team wants to have fans for what we've talked about. And again, yes, for the team, but for the economy downtown and get back to some level of normal, if you want to use that term. So, but each day it seems like another team has gone the other way. And I did something like last weekend, whatever it was, how many teams have already in some form, a few teams, Washington and the Raiders, 2 or 3 teams have no fans all season. And a lot of them are indefinitely, and a handful are September. So hopefully there will be fans there, but I just keep expecting in the next week for the Colts to say, as much as we want that, initially we're not going to, but we'll see, because again, it's crazy. The season starts 2 weeks from tonight.
It's crazy to think about that too. I guess because we've been without for so long, but it's crazy to think about that.
And there's no really build up to it, because
right.
As much as we all bitched and moaned about preseason games, it still got you. You still threw those breadcrumbs out there to kind of get you.
It got your attention a little bit, yes.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
In the fourth one, you forgot about. We went to Cincinnati and you didn't care and all that. But without that, you're not going to have that. So it's going to be like sort of culture shock come that Thursday in Kansas City when Houston and the Chiefs play, and then a few days later the Colts are in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. And you're right. I mean, there is at least a little bit of buildup in a preseason. And there's nothing. It's going to be really, to me, most interesting from these teams to see what types of starts they get off to and whether or not we're able to connect a positive start to the fact that a team that has been together, stayed together, been cohesive through off-season, and compared to that of those teams out there that took and made significant changes.
Yeah, and the Colts are one of those teams that made significant changes. I mean, quarterback, DeForest Buckner, high draft picks, who are going to play. But on the same time, it does matter that Rivers at least has a pretty good foundation with his offense. But, he won't have a ton of time throwing the TY and even less with Pittman. And that does matter. Don't tell me, they're going to say, well, sometimes practice doesn't. Well, no, practice matters. Don't tell us in one frame that practice doesn't matter or that it does. It's going to matter. And I'll bet if we talk in October, we're going to find out that the crappy teams are crappy and the good teams are good. I just think the teams that are run well with good GMs and good coaches and veteran players at the right spots, I think they're going to be the ones that play well. And the teams that have a history of not playing well or have so-so quarterback play, they're going to be the ones that are playing catch-up. And, again, barring injury, taking the injury factor out of it. So Again, I like the way this team's built. I like the way Reich approaches things. I like the way Ballard has built this team. And if Rivers is close to what he was in 2018 and just makes those plays you need to make, this is a good team. Not a great team, but a good team.
Yeah, not off to a bad start and injuries. Injuries will be the thing because it's been this thing forever. Absolutely forever.
Well, you talk injuries. Paris Campbell, that poor kid.
Yeah.
He has 4 injuries last year that really took care of his rookie season, and then in a minor car accident, and he's got the concussion. He's a guy that if it's storming outside, don't stand next to him.
They need to put him in a damn glass case or something, I think.
And it's too bad because we talked to him recently, and it really took its toll last year because he never got a chance to do what he knew he could do, what the team could do, and he's had a really good camp. This will be a minor setback.
They need him. He's one of the guys. He might be, because he is the speed guy. He's a guy that's different than everybody else. They so need him to perform offensively this year.
He looks like the guy, with all due respect to T.Y. Hilton, who has that chance to take that slant and really go and turn 10 yards into 50 or more. I'm not saying T.Y. can't at this stage, but this is a guy working out of the slot or where they've got him that he's got the size to shake off tacklers. So if this kid comes back and can stay healthy, he could have, you talk breakout players in year 2. He should be at the top of the list.
Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline and is 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL season. So hopefully we make it and we play it through completion. Hopefully that's the case. Mike, it's always a pleasure.
Yep, I appreciate it. Listen, you guys stay safe and talk to you next week.
You too, buddy. Thank you. Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I just actually retweeted this from the Super 70s dude. The old school makeup of the NFL. Back when the Colts were in the AFC East. Yeah, that was a good time right there. The AFC Central, Bengals, Oilers. Oh, the Oilers. What a great logo. And the Bengals should go back. The Bengals should go back. Now, I believe when the Bengals went from, and somebody in Cincinnati, some Schleprock Cincinnati fan needs to tell me this, but where's my man Morning Nap? Where is he? Andrew, where are you? When they went from the Bengals with letters to the stripes on the helmets, and everybody said at the time, oh, these helmets are so ugly. That's when they went to that first Super Bowl, right? In the early 80s when they made that transition. Man, if I'm the Bengals, I go back. Also known as the Ken Anderson, Booby Clark helmets, the Bengals, I go back to that. If I'm the Patriots, I go back to that. If I'm the Dolphins, I damn straight go. The one they have now sucks. I don't know why in the world you don't go back to the original one. The Broncos did go back, right? So the Broncos are with their original. You know how I feel about the Buccaneers. Yes. The Falcons are always better with the red helmets and the black Falcon. The Rams should stay with the old school Rams. I like the script and underlined Giants more than I do the NY. There was a time where that was different. Yeah, the ones that stand out, I mean, you're past the Tom Brady era. I know the Belichick is still there, but you're past the Brady era now. Go back to the Patriot bent over snapping the football. Go back to that one. Yeah, it goes with that Dolphins thing. That's ridiculous. How in the world is the one they have now sucks? And it's not a huge difference from the original one, but the original one is iconic. Don't get rid of something iconic. Do you? Race of the day coming up in a bit. Kyle is going to select those that are going to be able to play along with the opportunity at $50 in VIP cash courtesy for dining and $50 that you can use via wagering. Harris, Hoosier Park, and Anderson, the race of the day, coming up in just a bit. Backyard Bourbon broadcast, the third and final one is coming up tomorrow. I'm out in Greenfield at the Meggies. I'm getting shout-outs from everybody here right now that's going to be there. The Clint Moss is going to be there. The Clint Moss. And I'm looking at he's got a big fish in his hand right there. Don't bring it. But we got a final one coming up tomorrow. It's going to be outstanding. Sean says this, you'll have a good time tomorrow at the Meggies. I cannot wait. It's from Josh. I heard Kilroy's in Bloomington is not going to open this year. Both sports and the original? I haven't had a delivery for them since March. That's from Josh. Anybody in Bloomington know that to be true? Now, listen, I've been driving back and forth south of Bloomington for the past 2 weeks, and my mom gets the Herald Times. I don't know why I haven't read it. But anybody in Bloomington know will Kilroy's in Bloomington, both sports and the original, not open this year? I was not aware of that. But, again, nothing is surprising. And then shout out to Todd. Todd apparently had an interview with Vicky Peterson of the Bengals. I'm very jealous of that. Founder and lead guitarist. I was so, and no disrespect to Vicky, but I was so into Susanna Hoffs back then, like every other dude with a heartbeat. But I dig on the Bengals. That sounds good. She needs to jump onto the JMV takeover on Saturday night right there. All right, quick break. Race of the day coming up in just a bit. Bobby Marks of ESPN, Michael Grady, and Mike Chappell joined us today. Podcast 1075thefan.com. As I mentioned, on the road, Backyard Bourbon broadcast number 3 tomorrow in Greenfield at the house in the backyard of the Meggies. Heaven Hill Distillery, Brent Halverson's going to be there. We got the food courtesy of Ford's Garage, which is awesome. You guys have been getting the JMV burger, too. Say it's outstanding. Awesome. We got New Belgium Brewing, Fat Tire, Ryan Stoltz, and we're going to have a great deal with Connecticut Joe from our hydration, Connecticut Water, coming up on the phones tomorrow. Backyard Bourbon broadcast, the third and final of 2020, is tomorrow at the Meggies in Greenfield. Quick break. Back with you next.
Look out in the street there. You know what you don't see? My car, because I had to sell it to pay the lawyer I hired when I got busted for drunk driving. Know what else you don't see? My girlfriend, who decided that a guy with no car and no license and no money was no fun.
Cops are out there cracking down on drunk driving all across the country, and they'll see you before you see them. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And the NBA postseason, getting back into the swing of things here shortly. And FanDuel Sportsbook got a great offer for you right now. New users can get special plus 2,000 odds. Any team at all that you want to select to make the NBA Finals, even the favorites, you bet $10 and your chance to win $200 if they make it is right there. How you like it? What a great situation with FanDuel Sportsbook. And if you're new to it, get started right now by signing up. Use my promo code JMV. That is so essential here. The promo code is JMV with FanDuel Sportsbook. More ways to win. 21 plus, present in Indiana. New users only. Must wager on designated boost market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from the Bill Estes Ford family in Brownsburg.
Rob, not now.
Whoa, Brian, you okay?
My family's schedule is so unpredictable right now, and that makes work more stressful.
I get it, Brian. When I get overwhelmed, I try to make decisions today that are safe, responsible, and well-informed. So tomorrow I'm better suited for whatever may come.
How?
Well, it's always safe to upgrade to a newer car and responsible to pay less for it. Right now, we've got great discounts on the cars you need to move your family around. Get $6,000 off any of our 2020 Escapes, 26th in stock. Get $10,000 off any of our 2020 F-150 XLTs, 47 in stock. Or choose 0% interest for 72 months on many of our great models.
And you'll be well informed by our sales team, not overwhelmed.
Feel better now, bud?
Today is better. Hey, want to grab lunch tomorrow?
Let's just stay in today, huh, Brian? Get $6,000 off any new Escape and $10,000 off any new F-150 XLT. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
We see you over there, looking around to see if anyone's watching as you grab your phone to check your credit score. Don't worry, we're not creeping up on you like Mondays, but VergeCredit.com knows what's going on. You're on the verge of something great, on the verge of improving your payment history, on the verge of a lower interest rate. At VergeCredit.com, we know that's no easy feat. So goal getter, why not choose a personal loan that works just as hard for you? A loan that reports payment history, so each on-time payment could help build your credit score. A loan that believes in personalizing the details to fit you and your situation. From the amount to the term and payment, it's time you take control of your credit score with a personalized personal loan from VergeCredit.com. Start your journey to achieving your credit goals today. At VergeCredit.com, you're on the verge of something great. Lending decisions subject to eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, terms, and conditions apply. Late payments, missed payments, or other defaults on your account may be reflected in your credit report. Loans are underwritten and originated in Salt Lake City, Utah by Stride Bank N.A. member FDIC and serviced by Verge Credit.
JMV here. I got a great announcement for you. Connecticut Water, the absolute best. We love Connecticut Water, and for 50 years, they have been providing for you great tasting, clean, soft water. That will never change. Let's celebrate 50 years and do it with a bang here. September 10th to the 12th, Indianapolis locations. I think I'm going to be doing a remote there, too, which is even more awesome. You can slide by, enter to win prizes, get big savings on everything that is Connecticut that will give you the best water possible. Cheers to 50 years of great water, and cheers to September the 10th through the 12th at the Indy area locations where you can save big and win prizes in their 50-year celebration. That's Connecticut, northeast side Castleton, south side US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today or online, ConnecticutIndy.com.
Quick Shred now protects your identity not only by shredding, but by erasing and recycling electronics in their expanded full-service location at 62nd and Binford. 1 out of every 3 people will lose their identity this year. Protect your identity with Quick Shred. Recycle old computers, monitors, cell phones, printers, and flat-screen TVs. Quick Shred works hard to protect your identity. Visit QuickShredIndy.com. Quick Shred's open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and Saturdays 9 to 2. Quick Shred.
Hear ye, a new lunchtime challenger has entered the fray. Introducing Papadillas. Folded crispy flatbreads filled with melty cheese, juicy meats, and tangy sauce for just $6. And behold, the newest member of the scrunchy court, the grilled buffalo chicken papadilla with grilled chicken and zesty buffalo sauce that kicks like a jousting lance to the tongue for a mere $6. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Not valid with discounts, fees, and taxes extra. Prices may vary.
Want to save 20 to 50% on your diamond for your loved one? Come see Pierce Jewelers before you spend your hard-earned money. See them at piercejewelers.com.
It may have been August.
The 104th running of the Indianapolis 500.
It may not have been Memorial Day. But by all indications, it sure felt like May.
Drivers! Start your engine!
See the green flag flies. They roar through turn number 1. Kumasada jumps to the inside. Gets a rush to Kumasada. 10 to the second as traffic troubles continue.
Congratulations.
And Takuma Sato will go to victory lane.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man. It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Every woman's, every man.
Hit me with your rhythm stick.
Hit me. Je t'adore, ich liebe dich.
What do you think about this, Kyle? You ever heard this song before?
No, it hasn't come across the
Hit me
Spotify
slowly,
playlist.
hit me quick, hit me, hit me, hit me. You don't, never?
No.
Thanks for joining us today. Bobby Marks, a little bit earlier, we talked Pacers and change at the top with Nate McMillan as the head coach as he was let go yesterday. Bobby Marks had a lot to say regarding that. Michael Grady joined us, too, in the 4 o'clock hour. Mike Chappell discussed a lot with the Colts and the fact that we're, 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL season. where Vince just told me, why are you talking about the NFL, JMV, and Mike Chappell? It's not going to happen. Maybe you should start looking for a new job. I've got a lot of jobs right now. Like, what kind of job am I looking for? I just said a little bit earlier. Maybe down on the Gulf Coast. Florida Panhandle. Can I shrimp? Get some oysters. I don't even know if you can do oysters down near Apalachicola any longer. Maybe scallop. Something where I don't need to wear a shirt. What do you think? Yeah. Vince is not pissy. That sounded pissy, though. It did. I mean, I know things that sound pissy, and that sounded pissy. It's from Mark. Did you know, JMV, back in the day, the Bengals sang backup vocals for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and Waiting for Tonight? I like the Bengals, baby. There's no doubt. JMV, I heard you talking about the golf thing. I think that'd be great for the downtown. And the more, the merrier here. By the way, my man Romy had sent me the info. I guess Kilroy's and Bloomington they will not open until Bloomington hits stage 5. Will not open until stage 5. The mayor of Bloomington said stage 5 until 2021. Man, they don't want to deal with the restriction stuff. So, yeah, Kilroy's and Bloomington. I'm assuming here, right, Romy, both the sports and the original. I had not heard that. I don't know if that's new news. Maybe you guys already know that, but I had not heard it. Will not open in Bloomington until stage 5. Man, oh, man. Stage 5 or 2021. Man, college right now. I haven't heard anything regarding the Nebraska players, too, that filing suit against the Big Ten for making that no football decision. It looks like right now, at some point you're going to get some college football somewhere. It looks like the SEC is going to be moving straight ahead. With the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC. JV, I agree with you on the Bengals. They should go back to the big letter scripted version of their helmets. It's been too long. I don't know if there's anything behind that, but yeah, I would tend to agree with most. I'd go back to it if I could. That's pretty funny. No, that was Ian Drury, by the way, that I played in. Hit me with your rhythm stick. You guys would like it. Apparently some of you did. It's funny as hell. JMV, how long do you think it's going to take the Colts to really get into gear, get into action, since you have no preseason and you're just going by practices? That's across the board. It's everybody. And who knows? I mean, we've kind of come to the conclusion that if you have remained cohesive, if you haven't made a lot of changes, that you would have an advantage. It may not turn out to be that way. Because, again, I mean, injury situations always end up playing a role somehow, some way, especially if you're the Colts. JMV, are you going to be one in front of the television tonight watching Love Island USA? What in the hell is Love Island USA? You made me click on it, and there are a lot of thingies bouncing there, but I mean, I don't know if that's enough. Love Island USA?
I've never seen it, but I think it's in that same vein as your quarantine show, 90 Day Fiancé, you got into.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did get it. My wife got me into that too because of Big Ed, who Big Ed kind of looked like. Remember Weird Science when Chet, Bill Paxton's character? I mean, he was such a complete butthole the entire time to Wyatt, and they ended up turning him into kind of a, how would you put it, sloth-looking character, right? Jabba the Hutt type of looking thing. That's kind of what Ed looked like in 90 Day Fiancé. And my wife turned me on to that, and I can't lie to you guys. I never can. I did watch it, and I watched it for Big Ed. I think the first gift he ever got his chick in the Philippines was a toothbrush, toothpaste, and mouthwash. Happy anniversary, baby. Hey, by the way, my wife is in the last day and last chance. We have been voting. You guys have been great, too, in voting for her. She's doing workouts and competing for, I think, the cover of a national magazine. I, alas, am not, but she is. And you got your final opportunities to vote right now. I'll send it out via Twitter. But you guys have all been great for me. I mean, above and beyond as you normally do. Just nice, just kind. I'm really proud of the work that she's put in with this. So you can check it out on my Facebook page. And if you want to know where it is, I'll send you to it. But I can't thank you enough. You guys are just awesome. You know, it's funny. I haven't even had a lot of jackholes lately. I mean, for a while. Everybody's just been really cool. Believe me, we need a lot of really cool folks right now. But no, thank you very much for doing that. It's above and beyond. And I appreciate it. If I could get you all drinks, you know I would. Actually, I do. When I go out with Brent Holverson, I say come down. I don't think I'm allowed to tell you, hey, I'm going to buy drinks for you, because I think that gets me in trouble. Like, I'm going to get in trouble now for saying that. So I always say the free beverages will be flowing, which means I'm going to get you some free drinks. But I could not be more appreciative than the effort you put forth regarding that, and it's ongoing for one more evening. So hit that bad boy hard tonight. Hit it hard, and maybe we'll do a Facebook Live where you can watch Christy wrestle me or something and whip me. I felt pretty old recently. I'm back to getting 5 hours of sleep now. That's no good. The 12 hours was so much better. Anyway, thank you guys. Bottom of my heart, I do appreciate it. Appreciate you every day. You guys are incredibly loyal, and you have been the time I've been here in radio, and I could not, again, be more appreciative of that. Quick break, and we'll come back. The race of the day is coming up. Somebody's going to win $50 in betting, $50 in dining from Harrah's Hoosier Park in Anderson, which, by the way, I hear that they would love to have, but not only them, but Indiana Grand in Fairland, Indiana, wants a live version of the JMV Takeover. Can you imagine me doing that live in their place?
Isn't that you just being sort of a DJ for the night there?
Yeah, but I mean doing it over the radio too. I think they want
how would
that.
work?
I don't know.
That's above my head.
Oh, I think that could work, couldn't it? I mean,
I think it could be tricky.
I think Chris Wooldridge can make me sound like that I'm on the air when I'm not. I think he could. I mean, seriously, I think that could work.
I'm sure they'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah, that's Tony Wren's idea right there. I think that's a hell of a plan. I'd love to do that. So, yeah, a little JMV takeover live at Harrah's Hoosier Park in Anderson and Indiana Grand down outside of Shelbyville and Fairland. I'm all for it. Quick break. We'll come back. Race of the day. Somebody's going to win 50-50. Other side next.
School's back, and you can win $100 in a Sprout account from Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
right.
Hey, it's JMV for Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Around for 100 years. They have what you need, including air purification. And the iWave, the most advanced air purification system anywhere. Right now, you can save $125 just by mentioning to John and Chris my name. Also, know this, Love Heating and Air Conditioning, following CDC recommended guidelines to maintain your health and safety. 317-353-2141. They're the best. Love-HVAC.com today.
One
more
voice. One more voice from your neighborhood.
One more voice that stands for issues you believe in.
One more voice for the people you care about. One more vote
that matters more than ever. Every registered voter, every informed Hoosier, every vote adds up.
And it all starts with
one more voice.
Make that voice yours. Visit onemorevoice.com before October 5th and register to vote.
Hey, it's JMV for LD Smith Plumbing at 317-284-9526. They're the absolute best, and one thing you don't want to live without is a battery backup on your sump pump. And right now, LD Smith Plumbing is offering a free primary sump pump with installation on a battery backup system in your home. 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing. The best at following CDC recommended guidelines. For more info online, ldsmithplumbing.com today. Harris Hoosier Park and Anderson race of the day. We do that Tuesday through Friday right here. We send out the tweet, you retweet it, and we get everybody assigned to a horse. And I guess in this case, a driver, not a rider, but a driver. And you can win 50-50 VIP package in betting and in dining, courtesy of Harris Hoosier Park and Anderson. Fox Valley Britska goes to Matt Kaminsky. Wild Jailhouse, Mike Gary. Joseph Olas gets some Yahoo or Yahoo. Don't be a jailbird, Bart Diggler. That's very ironic. Indie Chick with New Year, No Fear. Brandon Evans gets Pilgrim's Image. Tanny goes to B-Rob. And Brian Jones has Guccio's Jodine. Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. Go out there and win something. Good luck.
The following is presented by the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. From Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino, it's time for the Harness Race of the Day on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
And they're off and running from the inside. Fox Valley Britska stepping out for the early call. Pilgrim's Image leaving aggressively. From the far side, Guccio's Joe Dean will circle to take the lead. Wild Jailhouse coming out in fourth. Dropping in fifth then, some Yehu. Then comes Tanny, followed by Don't Be a Jailbird. The early trailer gapping here is New Year, No Fear. They race over to the quarter-mile marker, and the early breaker, Guccio's Jodine. Opening quarter, 29-2. It's Pilgrim's Image and Mike Osting leading the way to the backstretch. They lead by nearly 2.5 lengths. Fox Valley Britska to the inside. Racing along in second, here's Wild Jailhouse. Attacking early to the outside from third, and Wild Jailhouse, heavily favored at 4-5, will be up to engage Pilgrim's Image as they approach the half. Wild Jailhouse to the outside, a nose and neck a half length now on Pilgrim's Image, who is back of the inside is second. Fox Valley Britska follows in third. Then fourth to Some Yehu, and Tanny is fifth. Further back in sixth, Don't Be a Jailbird. Racing in the seventh as they continue out of the far turn. It's New Year, No Fear. The halftime, 59 seconds. Wild Jailhouse. The Jailhouse, Jesse Gelding leading by nearly 2.5 lengths. Inside the Pilgrim's Image within striking distance. Trots in the second. Fox Valley Britska a bit further back in third then. Some Yehu angles to the outside for Yoder is underway from fourth. Three-quarter time, 128-2. Top of the stretch. Wild Jailhouse leading for home. Extending his lead 2.5, now 3. Pilgrim's Image is all out, but has little to show. Fox Valley Britska to the inside. It shows some life here. Some Yehu to the outside, and a Tanny further back, but with less than a 16th to go. It's Wild Jailhouse. Wild Jailhouse riding this one out as he'll coast home a winner in the opener. Wild Jailhouse in 158-4. Fox Valley Britska was second. Some Yehu and Pilgrim's Image.
Just minutes from Indy off I-69 in Anderson, Harrah's Hoosier Park has live standard-bred horse racing through November 21st, thanks in part to the Indiana Standard-Bred Breed Development Program. And keep listening for your chance to win with Harrah's Hoosier Park Harness Race of the Day on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Colts and Bucks face off in a classic from 2003. Tonight at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
There's a kid in my class that got a boner at PE in high school. He was wearing sweatpants. It was really embarrassing, so this song goes out to him.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Race of the day. Harrah's Hoosier Park at Anderson. Mike Gary's the winner of the race of the day. $50 in betting, $50 in dining. Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. A Wild Jailhouse. What? Wild Jailhouse. For the win, 360. The place, 260. The show, 240. Fox Valley Britska. The $7 plays, the 440 show. Some Yahoo goes for $580 in the show. The exact payout, $14.40. Trifecta payout went $17.70. That's the race of the day. Harrah's Hoosier Park in Anderson. Hey, check us out too. 1075thefan.com. I got to get people signed up for the golf outing in October. And I know October seems like a long way away, but let's go ahead and get it solidified, because it helps teachers' treasures, and holy hell, do we all need a fantastic time together. We do. Hey, social distancing on a golf course works. Helping teachers' treasures works. Let us do that. 1075thefan.com. It is the JMV sucks, but his golf outing doesn't, to benefit teachers' treasures. And we're going to have a lot of stuff for you. A lot of stuff. I think Brian at the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel was going to give out some golf balls, JMV sucks golf balls. That'd be a first. But let's all do us. Legends in Franklin, Ted Bishop, shout out to you. That's where we're going to go. Great place. Great food. Just fun time. I can't tell you a lot of the things that went on that course, but I can tell you this. You will have an outstanding time. I promise you that. Outstanding. 1075thefan.com. You guys have been awesome today. Again, thanks for voting for my wife. You guys have been fantastic with that. Final night for it, by the way, too. Just don't tell me about the pictures that you see. I'm trying to... I go... I love it, though, and you guys have been great. Bobby Marks, Michael Grady, Mike Chappell. Podcast, 1075thefan.com. Backyard Bourbon broadcast. Number 3 tomorrow, the Meggies, Greenfield. If you know them and not been invited, then apparently you're not really good friends. We'll be there, Heaven Hill Distillery. And our friends bring us to you in Greenfield tomorrow at the Meggies. Have a great night.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Any squirrel that gets wronged, I love it. I know how good you taste. Don't tempt me.
A squirrel tastes good?
I've not had squirrel, but I imagine it tastes like rabbit, which tastes like chicken.
I was offered some squirrel once, which I declined.
Just to recap the show, we've gone from Marco Andretti winning the poll to talking about eating squirrels in a matter of 20 minutes.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 till 10. Only on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV. While back to school this year looks different for our students and teachers, Forum Credit Union is here to help by awarding $25,000 in educator grants. It's easy to apply, and grants can be used for classroom materials and items needed to support virtual learning. Forum has awarded over $150,000 to local classrooms since 2014. Visit forumcu.com to learn more on how to apply. That's forumcu.com today.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from the Bill Estes Ford family in Brownsburg.
Rob, not now.
Whoa, Brian, you okay?
My family's schedule is so unpredictable right now, and that makes work more stressful.
I get it, Brian. When I get overwhelmed, I try to make decisions today that are safe, responsible, and well-informed. So tomorrow I'm better suited for whatever may come.
How?
Well, it's always safe to upgrade to a newer car and responsible to pay less for it. Right now, we've got great discounts on the cars you need to move your family around. Get $6,000 off any of our 2020 Escapes, 26th in style.